Hello, 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 folks. How's everybody doing here tonight? Hope everybody is doing good. Hold on one second. I gotta get my buddy in here. Anybody's welcome to come up, folks. I had some people that had emailed me today and asked me if they could come up, and my panels are always open for auditors or for subscribers or for trolls or whoever has something on their mind that they want to get off their chest or discuss a topic that they think is important and they would like input from us and other people in the. How you doing, Da? Good to see you, buddy. Um, so yeah, I have no qualms talking just about anything with just about anyone. This is Friday night. We're going to have some fun. We're also conducting a fundraiser in the description for FPS. Obviously, he's got some legal fees that he'll be needing to have covered coming up soon. And also, there's a link for Know Your Target and Beyond. Valentino, his parents have sent me a GoFund link. They did start it. I am in no way associated as far as in charge of any of the fundraising that goes on with those two channels, but I did agree to host tonight and to let folks know about the fundraising and provide the links because these two cases, because you guys know you've been with me for years now, um, I don't raise funds. I don't do fundraisers. I think this is actually my first one um, because I don't back a lot of people. I don't back a lot of, and when I say I don't back a lot of people, I don't want to put my name and my reputation on the line for something I'm not sure about. But these two gentlemen I know are hardcore freedom fighters. They've got the right message, they've got the right attitude, and, according to what I've seen, these folks are always doing what's right. So they're definitely people I could back. Part of the things I like to say is that we have to put support in the right places, right? So we have to put money in the right fights. We have to put money with the right people. We have to put views with the right people. Um, so that way, we're getting done what we want done. So let me start off by saying hey to everybody in chat. FPS isn't here yet. He texted me. I emailed him a link, but I've also got a link pinned up in the live chat. So again, anybody's welcome. When FPS hops in, he'll see that he can just click on that, or I did email him a link. Oh, there he is. I see his mug. Hold on, let's bring him up.
I got to get my camera right. Hang on a second.
All right, we got Angry Vet here too. And guys, before we begin, let me just say that everybody knows about what's going on in FPS, right? We're not here to talk about what's going on recently in his case. So don't bring up any questions about it. Don't entice him to try to talk about it, um, because simply of the fact is that again, we're not here to discuss that, right? It's not something that we're going to be discussing here. So just respect that aspect of it, and I think we're good there. Food Toy, good to see you. Angry Vets here. For Public Safety's here. Um, Food Toy, I think your mic's a little bit low, buddy. If you can raise that up just a little bit, that'd be awesome.
Try to.
Or it could be my hearing. I've had a hearing infection, earache infection for like 3 weeks now, and it's terrible. And I'm kind of losing hearing in both of my ears. So I got to get to the doctor here. Winston Smith, thank you very much. I could always use some gas money. What you'll notice is there's no GoFundMe link for me, and the reason for that is because I might need a couple bucks for gas, but these guys need a couple of bucks to fight the system, right? To get the change that I want to see done, right? And these guys are in different areas of the country. They're not in my area, but I want change to occur everywhere. I can't be everywhere, right? Angry Vet can't be everywhere. For Public Safety can't be everywhere. Valentino, which isn't even an auditor, he's just a guy. If you guys watch my update, he's just a guy that stumbled into some corruption in his personal life, and then also stumbled into what looked like a body dump of a cop body dump site, and they're retaliating against him because not only did he bump into it himself, but he took people there and showed him the body, took his father there and showed him the body. So this wasn't like a stand by me kind of deal where oh, I saw a body, and then you go back with your buddies and the body's gone, right? I mean, he showed people the body. Once you understood that part of the update, then when you went back to the original video, and you saw that, then you realized why those cops responded the way that he did in the video Meet Superman's Balls, right? Because they had pulled him over for supposedly trespassing, but yet there were 10 cops there and 6 of them had their guns drawn. I mean, that's a serious trespass. I mean, were you trespassing on NORAD? You know what I mean? You're like, did you pop up in the middle of Area 51 and grab like a ray gun or something? I mean, that's a serious trespass, bro. A suspected trespass, right? They didn't even know if he trespassed. They just suspected he trespassed, right?
Well, I would say, Rogue, that the police behavior was highly suspicious in that one.
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely. And I got Mr. Erie County down below, so I'm going to hop off to get him on. But
we got
I'm going to let you guys get.
Rogue, I'll pop down. It's too early for you to go down. I'll pop down, mate. See you in a bit.
All right. We'll stay in the basement, and I'll pop you back in. We'll rotate.
Hey, right. Rogue, if you wouldn't mind, can I grab the floor for just 1 second here? I want to elaborate a little bit on what you said when I came in.
Hi, guys.
What's up, Erie? I just wanted everybody to know that I'm actually in agreement with the court to not discuss any of the people involved in my case. So it's best for me to just not talk about Meade County right now at all. And that's the only reason. I just got
one question for you, though. I really need to know about Meade County. No, I'm kidding.
No, okay. I was going to say, well, I'm going to be limited. But I know a lot of people
Meade
are
County,
really
I never
driving.
heard of her.
What's that, brother?
I said Meade County. I never heard of her.
Never heard of her. Yeah, no, she's a bad girl. But no, I didn't want people to think that I'm not sharing. I'm not being transparent. It's going to be the opposite. Once the court case is said and done, of course I'm going to share everything that I've gone through. But right now, while it's in litigation, I've been advised to not speak of it, and I'm in agreement with the court to not speak of it. So it's just the safest way to go. It's not like you all aren't going to learn everything that's going on. It's just got to happen, and then you'll know,
And let me tell you, whoa.
We know. Right. We've seen a million motherfuckers that couldn't talk about their cases, and Pink held her shit, and she knew a lot for a very long time till she could release her shit.
Yeah, it'll come out.
Yeah, and you know what? That's smarter. Anyway, just because and I haven't talked a lot about my Social Security Administration case, but I've done tons of research into the laws and different aspects of what's going on in my case, and eventually I'll produce that as well for everybody to see my methods, how I went about it, whatever, convicted or not convicted. Which we're always hoping for a not guilty plea or outcome, but it is again the just us system. So not always do you get justice unless you're just us. Yeah. So we always have to keep that in mind. But we're real confident going forward, and people will see that in the end result. But part of the reason I wanted to do tonight was for obviously for public safety. There's definitely meat on the bone. There's freedom to be had. There's changes to be made, and all this good stuff. But also with Valentino, with Know Your Target and Beyond, the guy's got an incredible story. It's just corruption from day one, and he's obviously going to need some assistance there, getting his lawyers and stuff set so that he can fight this. And what I want to stress is that these guys are fighting for us, right? These guys are putting their freedom, literally putting their freedom on the line for us, right? So we can do, what we need to do as well, getting public records requests and investigating, people being beat by troopers and, all this other stuff. We all need the ability to do that. And we haven't had that for so long. I see, Joe. I see you got a nice little strain there going, huh? But we haven't had
Joe's
that
always got something
so
going.
long. Right. I know he does. I know. I'm just waiting for the 6-footer to come out. But so we all have stuff that needs investigated in any town that you're at. It doesn't matter. I mean, there is no Mayberry, right? There's no Mayberry out there, right? Everybody in their area has something that's going on. It's human nature. Right, it's human nature, right?
Even if you could find a Mayberry, you're going to find someone stealing the money somewhere. Even in Mayberry,
even in Mayberry is dirty.
I just want to throw it out there. Mayberry is in Western New York. That's my territory. Where the
there really is a Mayberry. Wow. Have you audited Mayberry, Erie?
It's actually called Mayville, but that's where they shot the that and I Love Lucy was shot there in Chautauqua County.
Yeah, you don't want that smoke no way. Other than Mayberry, you'll catch plenty of hate. I wouldn't audit that shit no fucking way.
I want someone to undercut beyond. I just want someone to uncover actual corruption in Mayberry.
I'm heading to Hamburg right now to do some cop watching. I don't know if you guys seen that recent video I put out Thursday. Where the Hamburg police shot a lady because she was armed with a flashlight pen. A naked lady with a flashlight pen, they shot her dead. And they don't have body cameras, and the chief of police had a press conference. It was so far-fetched and so ridiculous. I figured, hey, if they don't have body cameras, I'm going to go there tonight and cop watch them all night. Make sure we put some cameras on them.
So if they have body cameras, they probably going to get away with it.
That's called dedication, people. That's what dedicated to the movement. That's what dedication is.
Well, and maybe something like this should teach them to get body cameras. Hopefully they get hammered harder because they didn't have any way to prove it. So that's what I like to see.
There was so much cop-splaining. The story that the chief of police put out for the press conference, it was like textbook. He's like, my officers try to de-escalate. They talked with calm voices. I'm like, motherfucker, those guys that fucking think they're hammers and everything's a fucking nail. Ain't no soft voices. It was put the thing down. Pop, 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 pop.
Right. At what point has any shooting ever been by calm people? Come on.
It was dark, and the lady hit all the breakers in the house, so they couldn't turn the lights on. It's such a far-fetched story. It's disgusting.
Wow. I'm glad you're keeping an eye on that, Erie. Thank you for that, brother.
It's beautiful, man.
Cops around tonight.
I'm too pessimistic, man.
We got Erie on the live feed, keeping us informed about what's going on there in his area of Western New York, which is always a pleasure seeing those idiots. I got to hang out with Erie up there a couple years ago when I was driving through on my tour of tyranny across the country.
And we watched fireworks together on the 4th of July.
It's actually the 3rd of July, because on the 4th I was down in D.C. and I watched the ones over the Capitol. But yeah.
I saw your old video where you went to the big Capitol building.
Yes.
One day that video might resurface.
There you go, a throwback. So
I was thinking about doing that whole cross country thing or whatnot, but honestly, I think Maryland needs my attention right now.
Oh, absolutely. Listen, the only reason I started going outside of my state was because there was just such an influx of auditors that had sprung up.
Oh yeah, your state for real, yeah.
Right. So, like the first year or two that I was out there on the field operating, there wasn't a lot of people. There was, matter of fact, when I started, there was Jeff Gray who was kind of in like a semi-retirement at that point. There was Big Nick, and he was down there in South Florida, Miami. And there was Maddie, constitutional.
Wow, that was a while ago.
She wasn't doing nothing either. So there wasn't a lot going on. So I got involved in it. Then James Madison and Wrights Crispy all jumped in. We got News Now South Florida. He got in on it, and Eyes on the State. A lot of those guys then jumped in on it. But then after that, it took off. There was like another 20 more people that jumped in. And I said, because I'd already been literally, if you've ever seen my map, I've literally covered almost every state building in Florida. Because, I'm a hard worker. I go to a county, I hit every public building from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. I don't mess around.
I think, Rogue,
I like working with Rogue. I love working with Rogue.
I think
Rogue, some of those older. Oh, I'm sorry, Joe. Go ahead.
No, I think he has on his place. He's also mapped the place to revisits. I think he showed me his map, and he was telling me something about revisits. I know all the places I got to go revisit. Blah blah.
Right.
And I want to say, Rogue, that those older videos that you're talking about, that was one of the very first groups of auditing videos that I had ever. That's what you were part of the reason that brought me into this. Those older videos.
Well, thank you, sir. Yeah. Thank you very much. Once
thank you.
Those older videos will start being newer videos, So I'm trying to keep it on the down low and not get arrested. Obviously,
I'm an infant in this whole game, and honestly, I didn't know anything about you until you shared my very first arrest video. I think you and SJVT are the ones that put me on the map.
Yeah, absolutely. And I work with, good people. And when I get the opportunity to, I still haven't got the opportunity to go up with for public safety. When I went up to, because I had audited Louisville, I audited the county jail there. They actually kicked me out, trespassed me for filming in there a couple years ago on the same tour that I hooked up with Erie County. I hooked up with Joe Cool. Me and Joe Cool and Freedom to Film went around. We filmed Gary, Indiana. We filmed some other little small burgs, right to the right of Gary, Indiana. Dude, this little town called Portage in Indiana. They had like 2 APCs in the back of the lot. Remember that, Joe?
I do remember that.
Man, y'all were in the heart of it. And Gary, that's a rough spot.
The private airport that
right
we
there.
got thrown out of.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah,
I didn't realize you were in Gary.
Yeah, I grew up in Gary and Hammond, Indiana, right there, and then I spent some time in like the south side suburbs of like Chicago Ridge, Oak Lawn, Worth, South Holland, all those places. I'm well familiar with Tinker Park.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm real familiar with all those little south side burbs as well. But I tried to get in touch with Joe. He was over in Ohio with some chick like he's doing all he does. Because he knew I was coming, right? I'm like, Joe, I'm coming up there, dude. I want to hang. Let's hang, bro. Well, the first day I was up there, I was in Chicago by myself, And Joe said, I'm in Ohio. I'm with this chick. I'm like, get over here. So that's how we ended up meeting Gary. But yeah.
So Gary, Indiana, for people that don't know, it's one of the most high-end scale cities in America. I mean, it's luscious luxury homes.
I'm about to say, I've been there. What are you
and I think
talking
Rogue
about?
knows I'm being very facetious.
Yeah, it's actually, I think, rated one of the top in America of dilapidated cities, like evacuated
Abandoned
buildings
homes.
and condemned houses.
Yeah, and my family still lives up in the area of Hammond and East Chicago, Whiting,
Yeah,
Crown
yeah.
Point, all those areas. My family still lives up there, and they've lived up there since the 50s. So I get up there, every so often. But when you're driving down Route 6 in Gary, once you get into like the town proper, uh, you'll see on the right-hand side, if you're going towards Chicago on Route 6, there'll be a red brick building on the side, your right-hand side there. And it's got a sign up there that says, if you have any information involving this arson, please contact us. That building and that sign have been there for 30 years. I'm not even joking.
I wonder if anybody's ever contacted them.
I've that's one of the things I've always thought when I drove by. I was like, I wonder, if anything ever came of this. But it's literally, they have done nothing with the building. It's sat as a burnt out hulk there for the last 30 years, bro. And it's terrible. It's dilapidated, and it's because all the jobs left 30, 40 years ago. I'd say about 40 years ago, Gary was a hopping spot.
Yeah, Michael Jackson nowadays.
Exactly. There was lots of jobs there. They had like 11 steel mills. Now I think they've got like one or two. They had oil refineries up there. They had car manufacturing up there, and it all went away. And
well, I believe, I don't know the history exactly, but I believe there was like an industry boom that ended. I can't remember what resource it was that they capped out on, but something like that happened, and then the city just pretty much evacuated.
Yeah, it was the steel mills. It was when they allowed the steel to be shipped in from overseas at a cheaper cost, and so they ended up shutting down the steel mills here. Which is a whole different topic in and of itself. But I mean, Gary, what people don't realize is Gary is right on Lake Michigan.
Yeah.
It is literally on Lake Michigan. This is high value property, or what should be high value property, right? And that's going to end up, what's going to happen is they're just going to razz the whole city and throw up condos and houses along the, alongside the lake and stuff like that, because Gary's literally, I mean, you could get in your car from Gary and hit 90 and be in Chicago in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
If you take 80, 94, it could be 45 minutes.
I've done it.
If you hit the Skyway, I mean, the Skyway is just a bridge right over the little water there, and you're right there in Chicago.
Did you see the video that I dropped today, Rogue?
No, I was busy today. I had some running around and stuff I had to get done. So
it was on our buddy Dreadhead Cowboy from Chicago. He had ridden his horse over in Hammond, and the police there attacked him and his horse.
That seems about right. That's one of the most corrupt areas of the country. People in the 60s, when John F. Kennedy was president and his brother Robert was U.S. Attorney General, he said that was probably one of the most corrupt areas of the country. That was 40, 50, 60 years ago, and it hasn't changed. I opened up a nightclub there in Hammond, Indiana back in 1998 to 2000. And I could tell you from my own personal experience, we had leased a building. It was in a strip mall, and the place that we had leased had been a bar for 18 years.
Okay.
And when we got into that place, I can count at least 50 different code violations, right? This guy had open wires running on top of drop ceiling, right? He was jacking power from one AC unit on the roof to the next AC unit on the roof. Again, just open wires laying. I mean, the thing was a literal death trap. And it was because of, these people getting kickbacks and stuff like this. This guy had been in business 18 years.
Logical.
Yeah, I had to change so much stuff when I got into that lease. I had to re-update the drywall to be firewall. It was like 3/8 cents or whatever the qualifications were.
Yeah.
I had to get sprinkler system put in. They didn't have a sprinkler system put in. I had to do just all kinds of stuff.
Wait a minute. Are you trying to say that you weren't in the kickback club?
Right.
No,
you in the club?
and I was never gonna be, and that's what they expected of me. It took me literally, dude. I had more problems with the police and the city as a legitimate business owner than I ever have auditing. You know what I mean? Like, than I ever had auditing. Like, it was insane.
Well, I think you said the anti-word to government, legitimate.
Right. And yeah, it's still that way to this very day. I mean, the place, Hammond is not as run down as Gary, but it's not far off. East Chicago, the same way. You know, Whiting, Indiana, the same way. They keep these people in poverty. You know, they raise all kinds of taxes, and you know, you go through downtown Hammond, they got like some cool art sculpture that they paid $50,000 for, but I mean, the buildings are boarded up. There's no business in downtown. I mean, it's just, you know, potholes in the street that you could damn near call a jacuzzi. You know, it's just insane.
Yeah,
really
property's
Nobody
already bought
potholes
up.
like Buffalo, New York.
Well, nobody remembers too that they rode horses before there was cars, right? So
Yeah.
they don't.
Oh yeah,
think
you're
that
talking
horse
about
can be on the
Dreadhead
road.
Cowboys thing too,
Yeah.
right? Because that's the laws that he was.
I thought he got
Piggybacking
locked
on it.
up and they took his horse and said he was mistreating his horse. That's the last time I heard.
I'm gonna
about
let
it.
Futoy hop in here for a second, guys.
Can I have just a minute to address that real quick? Do y'all care? Is it okay with you, Rose?
I want to.
All right. So the government had stolen the guy's horse, is what really happened. They didn't have the lawful right to keep his animal. Okay. So since they had already done it, they had to come up with this humanitarian reason or excuse. All it was is the horse had a hoof abscess. If you've ever owned horses, you will have a horse that will have a hoof abscess. It's very normal.
I see it all the time. Yeah.
So what the government did in that case was they said, well, since his horse developed an abscess, that's why we're keeping his horse right now. And it was to save the horse's life. And oh my gosh, the horse was in such bad shape. That's not true, guys. What really happened was they stole his horse. They tried to keep it. And then they had to make an excuse for it. And they used a hoof abscess and tricked people that didn't have horse knowledge into thinking that the horse was literally dying. But everybody who has horses will have a horse with a hoof abscess eventually.
At the time, everybody believed that no one would have known the hoof abscess story. But we know he had just got some press, and suddenly they went and took his horse. Everybody figured that, this is some shitty here. Some stinks.
Yep. But anyway, that was it. I just wanted to clear him on that because I did a lot of research, and Adam is a good friend of mine.
Adam, that's his name.
How's it going, guys?
What's good, Futoy?
What's up, Futoy?
Hey, Chris, you know, thanks for having the balls. I don't want to say too much, but just thanks for having the balls for bringing this all the way. Yeah.
Come on, man. Why you got to bring that up? We said we were going to talk about
No, it's okay. I can actually talk about jail. You know, I was literally a political prisoner, guys. I mean, it was crazy, you know, having, you know, the government fight extradition along with me and keep me from going to a place where it was dangerous for me. That was a real, very crazy experience. Like I never, you know, you see it on like mainstream news things and worldwide news and you go, oh yeah, you know, that's a blown up story. And then it's me. And I'm like, hold on a minute. This shit's real.
Yeah.
They even had somebody try to pick a fight with you, didn't they?
Oh, more than that, they were trying to get me killed in the jail.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
But I will say the jail that I stayed in, where I was safe, because I refused to extradite. Right?
You can do that. You can refuse. I didn't know. It was
you got to go to court for it. Yeah, you got to file. I think it's called a writ of Miranda or something like that, and it's where the governor of your state determines in the end of court whether or not you need to be extradited. So, but I wasn't going to get a court. If I'd done that all the way through, I would have been in my jail until I think it was the end of February. So like I would have spent a whole month just waiting for a court date on it. And the bond is outrageous for that. Mine was $50,000 because, you know, it would make no sense for them to say, hey, we got this person who has warrants and we're just going to let them go. You know, they can't do that. But I will say that my county Indiana, it was a weird experience for me because they really stepped up to bat to protect me.
I thought you were being
And
sarcastic. You were being sincere, huh?
absolutely sincere, Joe.
All
Yep.
right.
And another thing I'll say is that the jail in
Let me
Indiana,
interject something here, just for a second. Rogue, the 2 links that you have for GoFundMe, can you let the mods know where those are so that they can put them through and
Yeah.
show them?
You
And
guys should have been doing
I
that.
think the
One-
Angry Vet was asking too if he can be a mod so that he said he'd continually put those GoFundMe links in the channel for us as well. Go ahead. Sorry.
We've been dropping them. They're in the chat. They and OMC's on top of it. She's dropping it, and a few other mods are dropping them.
Perfect.
Nope.
Go ahead for public safety. Sorry to interrupt.
Sorry, my phone rang.
I can't wait till we can talk about this. I really can't wait.
no,
I have so much to say on it.
Just mute it and then take it back.
My audio went out.
Is that
He's
Tiffany?
got an iPhone, yo. You
Is
gotta
that
leave it
Tiffany in the
going.
background?
Chris, we can still hear you, Chris. You're fine.
Okay, I'll go ahead and say it. I can't hear you guys, but I'll say what it is. I barely hear you.
And then
Hold on a second.
And there's a volume control in here.
There he is.
Yeah, they had to help me the other night whenever I was.
Well, I can back out and go back in. All right, here. Let's not do it right now. The end of what I was saying there, but because I can't talk too much, but what I was going to say is the sheriff for my county, Harrison County, Indiana, and the entire jail and the staff were really, really impressive. Like they're doing. I mean, they've had their problems in the past, right? And I've even considered looking into some of those problems in the past and considered doing it in the future, looking into their issues in the past. But now I've got firsthand experience inside of that jail and gotten a closer relationship with the sheriff who runs it. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, that is a very humane and professional place to be. If you're ever going to be locked up, that is the environment that I would think would be the proper environment for a county jail. So, as weird as it sounds, they're doing a good job in that jail. And I was treated properly. And so are the other inmates in there.
Can you hear us yet?
I'm going to have to back out, guys, and come back. I'll be right back. Okay.
All right. Okay.
So while he's gone, Rogue was also talking about Know Your Target and Beyond, Val, and he, I know he did the steel balls, and guys, this is my hometown where he's in the county jail, Missoula, Montana. Was born and raised there, so, and I never thought in a million years that the people I grew up with that are within the government there would be as corrupt as they are. It's sickening what's happening to Val in that jail. When he first got there, they wouldn't give him a Bible. They would only feed him pork because he's allergic to pork. He lost a lot of weight. No medical still. And he's been in solitary confinement now for, I believe it's going on 3 weeks now. And they're looking to try to extradite him to California, I believe, but they gave him 90 days in the Missoula County jail while they're working on the extradition. So he hasn't been doing well. Now I understand they finally got him commissary the other day. But he's still in pretty bad shape physically from what happened to him when he was arrested. So
let me tap in to kind of help people understand. I was in the solitary confinement like Cliff is talking about in my recent experience for 9 days. And that is horrific. Even in a jail where you're being treated as properly and professionally as you can be, solitary confinement is horrific. You don't get commissary. Your toothbrush is this big. You're lucky to get anything other than one roll of toilet paper for however long you're there. There's no one to talk to. You don't get to read books. You don't get paper. You're literally staring at the scratches in the wall that people have put there with their fingernails for however long you're there. And your only source of communication with any other humans is the one time you get to use the phone per shift in most places. And it's a really bad place to be, especially if the COs are unprofessional. So when you're in that, you are in the most vulnerable, worst positions ever if you've got bad COs. So if they want to mistreat you, you're being mistreated in there. There is nothing you can do. Nothing.
Right.
And let me just jump right in there. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah, let me jump right in there real quick and say that, and this isn't financial advice by any means, but Bob Barker does have the market cornered on toothbrushes and hairbrushes and supplies like that in jail. So if you're looking at a little bit more to your 401k, you want to look for a company like that definitely has the market cornered, because I can't tell you how many times I saw that damn name Bob Barker on toothbrushes and hairbrushes when I was in there. It was disgusting,
He's
Are we
plugged
talking
in the
about Bob
official
Barker like the
somewhere.
Price is Right?
Yeah, dude. Bob Barker, The Price is Right. He has a side business, a company or whatever, and it's supplying supplies like that. At least down here in Florida, I know he did.
Hygiene supplies for the jail, for commissary.
Right, because it has
Holy
his name
smokes.
on all of it. Bob Barker.
Oh no! What a horrible thing to be associated with.
Right. Now this was, of course, last time I was in there for a while was 30 years ago. But back then, man, he had the market cornered. So again, not financial advice, but those are the kind of companies. They've got a steady clientele. It's not like
Yeah, it's called the government contract.
exactly. People in the jail, they're gonna need toothbrushes. They're gonna need haircut homes and hairbrushes and stuff like that.
The sheriff that we got wrapped up here, the Jamie Knowles thing. That was one of the businesses that he was hustling, was of his own jail. He was in charge. He was the owner of the commissary. He contracted himself to sell his own commissary inside of his jail.
Of course he did. I mean,
well, yeah, and think about the markups you could force on people. If they need your soap, or they need your toothpaste, or they need your toothbrush, or they need your coffee or whatever, man, you could mark that stuff skyrocket. I'm sure that's what he was doing, and then forcing them to need it.
Of course, yeah, because you're not allowing care packages. Some jails allow care packages where your families could send you like lotion and stuff like that. But I mean, when you're in charge of the when you're in charge of the jail like that, you can say, no, I'm not going to allow anything from the outside to come in. So you guys will just have to.
You guys know who runs the federal prisons commissary?
No.
The Bush family.
Bush?
The Bush family runs the commissary and federal prison. He runs all of it. That's his enterprise.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm sure they probably got a lot of stock in those private prisons as well, which really just boggles my mind. But again, it's
they don't put no
topic.
salt in the food, so if you want salt or anything for your food, you got to buy it from Bush.
Yeah, that's the. Listen, these guys, they're really crafty if no one's watching them. But if you take 5 minutes out of your day and start looking into this stuff, you're like, my God, how has nobody busted this guy? It's obviously conflict of interest here, and such like that. But again, it's just people taking the time. Everybody's busy. Everybody's got kids. They've got jobs. They've got mortgages. They got responsibilities. And then when you get home, you have freedom, right? I could sit in front of Xbox for 6 hours and play Call of Duty. I could sit in front of the internet and watch, Fraud at Wrangler, be an idiot and disrespect women and children and all this other stuff, So I've got all this freedom that distracts me from, actually doing anything which I call productive. I teach my kids, be quiet. That cat ain't for you.
Screenshot this, fraud at Wrangler.
Yeah. So I
There
tell
seems
my
to
kids that everybody's rich in time, right? We're all George Soros in time. We all have the same amount of
We
time.
got the same amount.
I've got the
That's
same 24 hours in a day that Mr. Erie County's got in a day, same as Joe Cool
Speaking
has
of
in a
time,
day.
guys, I gotta get out of here. Hamburg is calling my name. I'm heading there now. I'm all set up. We're gonna do some cop watching. Who knows? You might see a live feed coming if we get in trouble. But
Yeah, if we see a live
sure to get
feed,
you some content. But I'm gonna be out of here. It's nice to talk with all you guys. Joe Cool, my man, Rogue Nation, Public Safety, Angry Vet, and my favorite Cliff up there. So I'll see you guys later.
We love
Get
you,
'em,
Eric.
Mike.
Thank you, buddy. Be
Get 'em.
safe.
Yes, get them.
Those pigs.
And don't let nobody get away with no shit tonight, all right? Joe Cool, I'm counting on you to call everybody out.
We're gonna put him in timeout if we have to. I can't
All
wait.
right, so yeah, like I was saying, guys, I tell my kids, we all got the same amount of time. It's what we do with our time that's important. What makes a person successful is that they're not spending 20 hours a day on Xbox. When Michael Jordan, when he wanted to be successful, he maximized his time honing his craft, and that's what made him one of the best. It's that willpower to take two things and prioritize, right? Should I watch the Facts of Life or whatever the people watch nowadays, Strange Things, or should I spend 5 minutes in a law book or a history book? That's how we can maximize our time there. So I realize people don't have a lot of time. I always thank people for donating their time to listen to me ramble. But it's important that we understand that time is the most valuable thing that we possess, and how
I have a confession. Can I make a confession?
I'm not a priest, but go ahead.
Before my raid, okay, I have honed my business into where I only usually work 2 to 3 days a week, okay. And and before the raid, I always considered that just to be like a semi-retirement for myself. I was very selfish with my time, and and I wasn't all that productive with it, to be honest, either. I live very humble. Even though I could work a couple more days a week and live a lot more lavish, I kind of feel like I already did that in the past, and I got to a point where it's like, hey, spend less money, earn enough to pay everything, and just retire, just waste the rest of your time. So that's what I was doing with it until the raid. And like the great James Freeman says, back the blue till it happens to you. That's a very true line, because it happened to me. It came in my door, right? And that's when I learned that my time can be so much more valuable. I still feel like I'm blessed with having extra days off per week than the majority of people, right?
Right.
But to tell you guys that, well, how do I put this? I would highly encourage anyone to practice and just try to use some of your free time, even if you got to grab some from somewhere else. Try to use some of your free time to join and help in this movement, and just see how it feels when you actually find some productivity in what you're doing. Go out there and check out your elected officials.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. I thought you said auditing. Okay, go ahead.
Not just auditing, but I'm talking about voters, right? Go out there and do some research on the people that you're voting on. Go out there and look at some of the side businesses and hustles that these guys are doing, and make sure that they're not stealing tax money. Go out there and see what these people are actually doing in the positions that you're paying them for. And it will be so valuable for your community. Your little bit of extra time can end up being huge value to your entire community. If you don't believe me, try it.
Which is technically auditing. That's auditing.
It is auditing. Yep.
Angry Vet.
What's up?
What's up? Can I have a moment or two?
Look,
family,
you're looking good all the way from New Zealand.
yes, thank you, Angry Vet. Family, we are
That's
that.
It's good to see you, NZ.
In New Zealand. Hey, Chris, I've never come up on one of your live streams ever.
Well, you're more than welcome to.
Hey, I wanted to.
Yeah, we love everybody
No.
here, buddy. Even the trolls in the chat there, they got a chance to come up. If I see them in the basement, I'll be happy to pop down and throw, let one of these other guys rest while a troll comes up here and talks smack. And
I'm
they
gonna be
always like to
honest,
talk smack in the
I
chat
do
over
not
here.
love
And I told them beforehand
I
that
saw
that
Thomas
he
in the
runs
chat
the
earlier.
channel.
Maybe he'll come up.
Yeah, before
Hey, Ro,
yeah, buddy.
Lee Major, bro. I love trolls. Trolls promote your fellas' channels. Chris, you do need to shut up about meat. Go back to your channel. I understand that. Angry Vet, love you. Chris Williams, you're a fantastic supporter.
Well, thank you for that.
I'm not sure. I can only see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Who's the sixth person?
That's Joe Cool.
Joe Cole. I am subscribed, but I don't watch a
That's
lot
racist.
of your
That's
content.
racist, bro. That's racist, bro.
That's not racist. Hang on. What the hell? There's a problem with a white girl saying she's a black girl.
What?
Flex, you're right. On his channel, he has a glove on that's black and a glove on that's white. And the police said that's racist. It isn't. It's an
That's funny.
of
Thank you.
faith. But anyway,
Guys, I'm
family.
going to say something real quick, and then I'm going to jump off for a little bit. I coming to Know Your Target and Beyond. Rogue's done a couple of videos on him, and Generally Specific did a really, really good video on him too. So I just kind of wanted to give him a plug real quick. Rogue, have you got anybody in the basement that wants to come up?
I will jump out.
We're good. No, we're good. We're good. There's nobody waiting to come up. We've got 6 slots. Everybody's good. I'll let you know.
Okay.
I'll be the one to
All right.
jump down for a minute so I can get a smoke in or something.
Okay, well, I
Rogue?
don't mind jumping down either.
Lee Major, you can drop me out anytime.
Well, NZ, I think there's a question I've been dying to ask, and that is, I know Joe Cool's been dying to ask, but he's pretty shy. But is weed legal in New Zealand?
That's a good question.
Is way legal as a person?
No.
Show 'em what
weed,
you got, Joe Cool.
marijuana. Is marijuana legal?
No.
It's
No.
not? Okay, well then you don't have to worry about Joe Cool visiting with you. Then.
Joe will never come to New Zealand now.
I tell you what, Joe Cole, in that regard, Joe Cole, I have smoked on and off for many, many years.
Right. I got you.
I know plantations for many, many years.
Trip back home, baby.
I've grown it for many, many years.
That's probably what he's getting at, NZ.
What the space? Our government, now we're blue, because our red government screwed us. Watch the space. I believe our blue government may do medical marijuana. They already, 8, 9 years ago, when they were in power, said medical marijuana is and should not be illegal. We are still under King Charles. Bless his soul, he's got cancer. Queen Elizabeth was our monarch. You buggers were lucky you got away from the British colonial crap. We still have it. Anyway,
well, we have our own colonialism, monarchy over here. They're called government. It's the same shit. They're dukes and duchesses and nonsense like that. Same shit over here, bro. Different name.
What about the difference between marijuana and medical marijuana? Is there a difference?
There used to be
one,
here.
One helps you, the other one don't.
I'm asking Joe, man. Joe would know.
Well, I don't know about the New Zealand fucking places, but depending on the dispensary goes, sometimes the medical shit's better, sometimes it's garbage. I could get into technicalities and talk about it. The process of it, when they knock the little crystals off and make the dabs with it, and then they sell that shit to you at the dispensary.
Well, in the medical,
oh wait, so you said
taxed too. The government gets their share when it's medical.
yeah, that's the difference. Is one has a dollar sign on the top of it for the government, and the other one don't.
And either way,
well, listen, don't think your government
isn't legal.
Yeah, don't think that your government hasn't and wasn't getting any money off the illegal marijuana trade, because they were making it hand over fist. You know what I mean?
Yeah, more.
That's true.
That's why they kept it illegal so long, because they were because the narcotics trade is actually one of the most absolute fundamental monetary gains that the government has. They are so addicted to the narcotics game and the money that comes with it.
Especially with it being illegal. They were making money hand over fist.
Ton of money. Yes. Everything they do is based on making money.
You know what they did? They were the supplier. They were, the transporter of, drugs coming into the country. And then they let it filter down to the street level users. Then they would make more money by arresting the street level
lock
users.
them up for selling the drugs.
Yeah,
and then put you on probation and getting federal grants in for your mental health stuff that they're going to put you in the classes for. And
there's a movie about a real famous guy who flew airplanes for the CIA.
Barry Seal.
Yeah, and they would dump all the weed and shit like that in the water, and then they'd pick up. He was working for the fucking government. He was working for the fucking CIA.
Yeah, Barry Seal. There was an ex-CIA operative, Barry Seal, that was bringing in cocaine, and of course, he met an untimely end, and all that other stuff. But I mean, anybody that's even dabbled in the game a little bit realizes the ridiculousness of the concept of, somebody in, like, say, New York City, like the gentleman that wanted to be the heroin dealer, going over to Afghanistan with $1 million in a suitcase looking to buy some heroin to ship back home.
Yeah.
I mean, we know how people hook up, right, in the game, right? It's not like
that was one of the reasons.
right. It's not like there's a phone number you can call
Yeah.
where they'll be like, "Oh, I'll patch you through," like heroinlovers.com or something, right?
Yeah,
So
that's one of the main. That's one of the main
had to know
reasons why
somebody
we
in
were.
Afghanistan.
Yeah, that's one of the main reasons why we were over there, to protect the
Right.
poppy field.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Like, you're not just going to get some street dealer, no matter how much juice he has on the streets of Chicago, to go over to Afghanistan with 2 suitcases full of $100 bills and just walk up to some dude and be like, "Yeah, I want to buy heroin to ship back home." Dude, you're
Right.
going to be killed and your money's going to be stolen, bro. That's how the game works, right? That's the game. They don't care about you. You have to come over there with money, but you also got to have some ass, right? That lets you know that if you do kill me, we'll bomb your whole neighborhood, right?
Like the military.
It helps, yeah.
Our ass was the military.
Exactly.
Chris-
That's exactly what I'm talking about. These CIA guys, they run around the world. They're buying drugs. They're shipping drugs to topple regimes so that they are more American, friendly or whatever have you not. Let's call it democracy. But everything. It's just all together, all in all, it's a big sham. I don't
They'll
know if
never
you
go
guys
to
have ever read
jail
the
either.
book Confessions of an Economic Hitman, but it was a book about a gentleman who used to work for the International Monetary Fund, World Bank,
Wow.
and he was talking about how they would go around to countries and literally put them under the gun. They would offer them loans, and then when they couldn't pay back the loans, they would go ahead and say, well, you don't have to pay back that loans. How about you just give us that copper mine, or how about you give us that gold mine or that oil field? And they were squeezing the heck out of these dudes, man.
Yeah, I think I heard
Like
some of
with
that shit.
food aid, right? So like,
Yeah, well,
when
No, go ahead.
you see all this food aid going to other countries, they're not doing that out of the goodness of their heart, right?
Those
What
are
they're
payments.
doing is they're flooding the local market with free product, so that way their farmers there can't make no money and they go out of business. And then all of a sudden, now they jack the price up on the grain, and you ain't got nowhere to go because your farmers are already making cars, baby. They done sold the farm.
Or
You
it's
know?
it's a payment or a payoff on like some fucking rockets that we sold them. We could,
Exactly.
we gotta hide the fucking money.
Exactly.
Well,
dude.
I got a much smaller operation going on. I've been down in Chris's basement now for 4.5 hours. Chris, if you just tell me where they are, I'll leave.
What? Talking about the cops.
I must say, what are you looking for down there?
The cops spent 4.5 hours in my house looking for any teeny tiny thing, and we weren't doing nothing illegal, so it was one hell of a waste of time for them and us.
I wanted to ask you, you talked about the first jail, how great they were, but I heard you say something about it was fucked up. Where'd that part come into play?
Oh man,
You can't talk about it. I'm not trying to breach into the
Yeah,
nonsense.
let's not
I
even
can't.
get started.
Yeah,
on that,
I
'cause
couldn't do it
could lead
without
to something
saying
down the
names.
road.
All right, well, yeah, I'm not
But
asking
I
that.
do want to say I have a spot up here on the channel. I see there's some trolls that have come in. Firefighter 936. He's a troll. There's some other trolls in the chat.
Oh, that's one. No, wait, that's one of the ones that have been personally trying to assault and attack or harass and attack me and Tiffany. Firefighter, I tell you what, man. Whoever you are, mind your own fucking business. Get the hell out of my life. I don't know you. You don't know me. And whatever it is you think you're going to do, threatening my old lady is not a cool thing. So how about you just wander off and go pay attention to whatever's in your own life, punk.
I'll
this is a guy that
rephrase-
thinks
I'll
it's
rephrase what Chris was saying, and I'll just say, go play in fucking traffic, and or jump in front.
I'm
of
right, right? The firefighter name, that's one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not playing with that son of a bitch. He can go cuddle up with Jamie Knoll. in jail.
That's right.
Yeah.
Share your pudding with Jamie Null, bitch. That's what I'm saying to you.
Exactly. I have no patience for a man that would even attempt to threaten a woman like that. Just
all I can say
disgusting
is
behavior.
they have no idea what's coming down the pipe. That's all I can say about
Oh,
it.
The law will catch up eventually.
Of course, that's lovely. That's the way life works out, right? Just like when we say back to blue until it happens to you, we're not saying that because we wish harm on somebody, but we say that because it's inevitable, right?
Yeah.
It's coming down the pipe, right? The government is constantly, daily. We see the videos. You can't deny it. They're constantly messing with citizens daily. Sooner or later, my friend, they will get to you.
Hey, I got a question, Rogue. Is that firefighter son of a bitch showing his face?
He's not in the basement. He's over in the chat. I wouldn't let anybody up that wouldn't show
He's welcome to come show his face.
Hey, he's the big
Yeah,
guy.
no, he won't do that.
Oh, I know who he is. I had to call his boss and let him know how he acts. He ain't even from here. Yeah. I wonder if his boss fired him.
These guys are keyboard warriors. They're cool behind the keyboard. They're cool behind an avatar, but they won't step up.
No, and the problem is here's what I'm seeing, bro. If you participate in a group that is definitely trying to damage a woman and a child and children, right? What kind of person can you possibly be? You don't have to be the one directly doing it. But if you're in a group that's doing it, you are no better than them.
Right.
So firefighter, I don't even know the cat, but I gotta argue
got some numbers behind it
because
too.
the shit's getting straight. Firefighter is with the group that's threatening your girl.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Every day while I was in jail, they were doing death threats on her. And they were trying to tell people in the jail lies about me to get me killed in the jail. Yeah.
Now you say that you're talking about this cat in particular, right? Because he's.
I'm saying that cat's one of a member of a group that was designed. A hate group was formed on Facebook, and he's one of them.
Right.
Yeah.
But we're not going to get too deep into that.
Yeah.
We're going to let that all play out the way it should play out because we want to make sure that the right stuff happens to the right people for the right reasons. Unlike Kaiser and those cronies over there, again, we don't wish bad things on you folks.
I do. I do.
I do.
Listen, bad things are going to come just because of the nature of the beast, right?
No, bad things are going to come because they're earning it.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's the nature of the beast, right? It's like the idiots that get on their motorcycles and drive 150 miles an hour every day. Sooner or later, you're going to smack into the ass into somebody's car, right?
I'm going to hope you're okay. I don't want you to have an accident, but you keep up that behavior and you're likely to have an accident. But we're not okay wishing bad shit on them, man. And
right, exactly.
We can't take on their behavior.
I want to give a quote that I heard from a great man. He said, the more you hate, well, the more you're going to get of that. And the more you love, you're going to get a reduction in that as well.
A reduction in the hate or a reduction in the love. I'm not sure that last sentence makes sense.
Love without remorse. That's Val. Know your target and beyond.
I just have a quick thing to say about it, and then we can drop that douchebag. We can stop talking about him. But I know exactly who he is, and I want to thank Chris here actually for helping me out with this, because in the very beginning when I first started doing this YouTube shit, he was one of the first ones. This firefighter fucker.
Okay, well listen. You're gonna love it. Firefighters here backstage.
Yeah,
I'm gonna add him
up. Yeah,
I'm gonna bring him up right now. Let's see what he has to say.
Yeah, because he was one of the first ones.
Oh, why is it so dark, firefighter?
That would be because I don't have the lights on. It's easier for me to see.
Yeah.
Turn them on.
You.
I don't take orders from you. You're not my boss. Right?
Turn your lights off.
First off, shut the fuck up. You want to make fucking claims?
Yeah,
you want
keyboard warrior.
You want
warrior. Hey, what did your boss say to you when I told him how you behaved?
They only told me last night, and you called them a month ago. The mayor and the two chiefs, they laughed their ass off.
Oh, they thought it was funny? I bet you're lying.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah,
That's
you
why
can't
I'm-
keep a job with it. You can't keep a job when you're a person that threatens women and children's lives.
Yeah,
You lie. I never once.
Oh, am I
never
lying? Am I
once.
lying? Because I got it all
Yes.
screenshotted.
You always
I
fucking
might
lie.
I think I might actually have a screenshot of you. Fucking
You
calling my
always
wife.
lie. You've been
Oh,
lying
shut
from
up.
day one, Chris.
Yeah, day one. I'm such a liar. Okay, I'll publish it. How you want that? You want that? You want your
Fucking publish
situation?
it.
And I can
It's
publish
not
the
a threat.
conversation I had with your boss.
Do you know the difference between a comment and a threat?
Do you know the
whatever,
difference
bro.
between professional and a punk?
Here, let's.
Obviously, you're not professional.
Yeah, why don't you jump in that hate group a little bit so you can threaten my old lady some more? You think
What
you're gonna
hate
come in
group?
here and I'm
I
gonna
don't
be
even
cool
know
with
what
you?
the fuck you're
You got
talking
my
about.
girl scared to death to live.
You know,
And
Oh,
you think that it's
stop.
okay to sit next
You're
to me in a panel?
lying.
let's just
Stop
fucking
your
squash
play.
this right now. Let's squash.
Stop
this
your
right now,
stage
and I'll
act for
fucking
your
fuck you,
buddies.
Firefighter.
Yeah,
because
so
you are
stage act, man.
lying.
How do you know me? Huh? What do
Listen.
you know about me?
You
Give me
put
a
your
sec.
life on the fucking social
You
media.
obsessed piece of shit. You know nothing
Oh.
of me. I
Oh,
owe you
fuck
nothing.
off.
You get to
Fuck
witness my
off.
life because
Fuck
I choose to
off.
be transparent. But what do you do with it? You go and you threaten my family.
Hey,
Your
Firefighter.
family. She's your girlfriend for one, and I never threatened her.
It don't matter what she is. I love her. You leave her alone.
I never threatened her. Get that
No,
through
you're in
your
a group
thick
that
skull.
does. You're in a group that does.
Hey,
No, I don't need to
Firefighter,
mellow down.
let's squash this. Let's
Let's see this
right now.
threat. I want to see it. I want to
The
see
whole
what I
group threatens
supposedly
all the
said.
time. You're in it.
I'm not in it
Yeah.
all the time because I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah,
Well,
you
hold
do.
on.
All
We're
right,
not
yeah,
going to
you do.
show any proof. Of
It was
what's
a
being
month
said
ago,
in
dude.
the group.
It's still
That-
happening
that
now.
was
brought
Our
up.
lives are damaged because of
You
you and your
called-
punk friends.
You called them a
That
month
won't happen,
ago,
brother.
and it probably something that I don't even know what the hell you're talking about. I even
Okay.
showed them that I was
Okay.
not a member of this
All right,
group
a
you're
month
talking
ago,
about.
New Year's Day was not a month ago.
You called the city hall. You talked to the mayor, and
After
you called.
you did what you did, and I showed them
And
what
you
you
called my chief or one of my chiefs, and that was a month ago. Last night, they told me for the first time.
did. Well, they should have told you as soon as they, and that's because you're volunteer and you're hardly ever there. So they probably
Well, shit,
just
I'm
saw you
there
for
all
the
the
first
time when I'm not working.
Yeah, you'll see how it turns out.
Yeah,
All right.
I'm never there. Oh yeah, I just work for the fucking thing, and I'm never there. You can't
Yeah.
blame me for fucking the threats that they fucking make.
What
I
threats?
didn't do it personally.
I
Go
never
fuck
threatened
yourself, you piece of
anyone.
shit. You're a piece of
Oh,
shit.
you're in a group that does it for the group's
Ang-
purpose.
Angry vet, shut up.
No,
Go clean
no,
your
I won't.
van.
I won't shut up.
You
I'll give
want to
you the
be
You know what I'm gonna do for you, you piece of shit? Since you,
there's nothing you can
love
do.
stalking, since
Stay
you
in
love
Minnesota.
stalking and shit like that. 1100 Cedar Lane. Pull the fuck up, you fucking stalking motherfucker. Pull up on me and see what the fuck happens.
You ain't worth it.
Yeah,
You
go
ain't
You know
ahead.
what? You know what, man?
Go ahead.
Here's what it is. This guy over here is such a lonely piece of shit with no life at all that he
Yeah.
watches YouTube and he finds people that he wants to harass, and that gives him his
I
kicks.
need to medicate.
He don't
And
care
what
if
is it
it's a
that you
woman
do
or a
going
child.
around all
He
the
don't care if
cities
it's
and
a
harassing people?
Stop talking over me. You
No,
don't
you
fight
talked
fires
over me,
either.
so
You're a
go fuck off.
volunteer who hardly ever shows up for work.
Bullshit.
You ain't nobody. You're
I
a punk
respond to
troll.
every single call.
Abusive person.
Odin said,
That's what
"Don't
you
waste
are.
your time
You're
I
on
an
just
that,
about
abusive
sir."
every
punk.
single call when I'm
Chris?
not at work.
You're a
Hey,
little
where's your
fucking
wife?
shit.
Where's your wife?
Hang
Did
up.
you beat her?
I'm
Where's
not
she at?
married. Never been married. I
Yeah,
at least
there's a
admit
reason for that. You ain't got
No,
one. You ain't got a girlfriend either,
Personal
man.
choice.
Rogue,
Yeah,
Rogue,
no, it
No, I
ain't
have a
personal
girlfriend.
choice. Nobody.
Hold on,
Here's the
let's
choice.
talk.
You chose to act the way you do, and that's why nobody will be with you.
Let Rogue talk.
Okay.
Yeah, let me
Sorry,
talk.
Rogue.
Well, at least
you're
I don't
fine,
have to
guys.
put a gun to a girlfriend's head.
That never
Okay,
happened.
Hold on.
There
Let
you
me
go.
go
Drop
ahead
him
and speak.
now.
Like I said,
Drop him.
firefighter. Thank you,
Drop
buddy.
that motherfucker right now. Drop that cunt.
Well, hold on. Let me speak.
Yeah,
Let
how
me
about we
speak. I
let
haven't had a
Rogue,
chance to speak. He hopped on, and him and Chris have been going at it, ever since he hopped on. So,
Fuck him.
I don't think he knows that he's not able to talk over me, but this is my panel, so that's not going to work for you,
Look at
firefighter.
him slobbering while he talks.
Right. So that's not going to work. Sorry, buddy. But you know, when I invite trolls up, guys, and they immediately go into attack mode, we can't get anything accomplished, right?
I'm sorry.
This guy comes up and he starts. No, it's not you guys. What I'm saying, you're just defending
Oh, it's
yourself against
absolutely
this guy. What
both
he's
of those
trying to
guys.
say.
It's absolutely both of those guys, and I'll tell them both about it when you're done.
I came
Yeah.
at him pretty hard because
I'm
I'm so like my life is getting destroyed by these
Right, no,
people
no,
who
no.
don't
Like
even
I
know
said,
me.
We can tell
There's
by your
obvious
reactions,
reasons,
but-
Chris, that you fired back off at him. Like I said, you're defending
Right.
yourself to guys out there
But
threatening
we
your
be
family.
less than friends
Or
who
even if
love
he's not
to.
threatening your family, he's associating with people that are threatening your family.
Yeah,
We
You know,
understand that
he's
it's
associating.
obvious.
I know he's on Kaiser's channel all the time.
yeah.
So I know that he's associating with people over there that are just saying just incredibly despicable things about Tiff and you know Michael Kaiser. He likes to say, I was in his watching his video earlier tonight. He was talking about respecting women. That guy doesn't respect women. He only respects women that think that he's cool, right? That think that he's smart. Any woman that doesn't agree with Kaiser, he's got tons of different slurs to say about those women, right? So Michael Kaiser's not a guy that respects all women. He just respects women that agree with him. That's
Or that he can control.
right. That he can exactly. So we understand that.
That
And
part
that's
was
fine.
obviously.
And-
Let me
and-
say
and-
this part though. I'll try and be as kind as I can with this. Don't let some negative energy come in because it's looking for more negative energy. You can't feed it. I know you've been through a lot. I know it's horrible, but just keep in mind, he wants to bring negative energy out of you. You'll know you're doing that if you're mimicking his tactics because they're foul. Don't let him pull you off your square, both of you cats.
That's
No,
right.
I love
man,
you,
but Joe,
I love you
Joe,
for saying
listen.
that. No, wait a minute. Give me a second. I love you for saying that, and I will respect you for the rest of my fucking life. For saying that. I agree,
appreciate
100%. But I need to smoke a cigarette because I'm fucking up there right now. So I will be right back.
Okay.
Yeah, I got nothing
Okay,
against
okay.
you.
And let me just say that that's correct what Joe said. All right, because as most people know, when I was younger, I was a criminal. I ended up going to prison when I was 18. And one of the most basic lessons that I learned when I went to prison was that people will talk crap, right? So when I got into prison and people were up in my face, calling me slurs, telling me that they're going to eat my breakfast tray, talking all this smack, I learned one thing, and that is either A, I'm going to let this slide off me, or B, you can put your hands on me, and then we'll go from there, right? Because everything else is just words, right?
Yeah, but hold on a minute. Wait. I just got out of jail on 11 charges that were not true. This group
Right.
was formed. Hang on. This group that he's in was formed specifically to do those types of things to me. And guess what? Collectively, they really are having physical impacts on my family.
Okay.
We feel scared to have our children with us. I am afraid to go to the store because they're making fake warrants for me everywhere I go. I got a group, he's in it, okay? A group that he's in with a state police officer who is one of his buddies in his group who are just trying to find an excuse to scare us or hurt us or grab us or put us in handcuffs or be in our sneaking around the backside of our garage and disconnecting our wires and busting our windows. It's way past all that other stuff.
Right. No, and we know. Well, some of us know that, Chris.
It's clear to me that these things.
What I'm trying to say is that emotional reactions can lead to stuff being said that doesn't need to be said. Me and you both, we had a long talk last night. We know exactly where you stand. I know where you stand. You know I know where you stand.
How
right?
you fight it
You're
is
looking
important.
good, brother. You're looking good. You know
Well,
what
and
I
I'm
mean?
trying to
If
protect
I like
Tiffany and the
guys,
kids too.
if I like guys, I'd ask you out on a date because you're looking good, homie. You know what I'm saying? So let's leave that at that.
Yeah.
He ain't saying nothing.
And we're
Dude ain't saying
veterans,
nothing.
too.
You know what I mean?
seeing it
And unless
through
he's getting in your
veteran
face, don't
eyes.
even worry about that cat.
Yeah.
Like you said, dude is about nothing, right? That's what it's
Yeah.
about. He ain't about shit. He ain't gonna do shit. His heart pumps Kool-Aid. He won't even turn on his damn lights. He's so scared, right?
Yeah.
Like I
Sit
know
over
you got a light in
slobbering in
that
a
room,
dark
homie.
camera.
Hey,
I know you got
what
a
he
light in that
wants
room,
most?
homie.
You know what he
Right?
wants most from you? He wants a
I sit in the
reaction.
dark because it's
That's
easier
what
on
he
my
wants
eyes.
most from you. That
Easier
should
on my
encourage
eyes.
you
You could turn
not
on
to
your
give it
light
to
for a
him.
second though, so we can see that you're a 300-pound slob that can't get a woman. You know what I mean?
There you go. Oh, look at it.
That's
Oh my
very
God.
Yeah, no,
accurate.
of course
Oh my
you ain't
God.
married,
That's why I
homie.
kept the lights off.
Of course you ain't married, dog.
Oh my
Oh,
Lord.
Chris, don't even say you're a prize because we seen
Oh,
the
I'm a
bald
prize
spot in that
compared to
belly.
you.
Okay, whatever.
So
Hey,
you
I'm
can
glad
turn
we
on,
brought positive energy. Thank you for
firefighter,
showing your ugly mug.
firefighter. You can turn that off now. We don't need to see that. You
No,
know?
leave it on. Let's scare people.
No, I mean, you know what I
Yeah.
mean. Like some people definitely look better off camera, dude. But hey, listen, before Kaiser outed himself, I was glad. Now every day he's on the screen, I'm like, dude, what the fuck? You should have stayed hidden, dude. You should have stayed behind that avatar, dude. You know what I mean? Like, those sideways eyes he's got going on, dude. That just freaks me out, bro. I don't know.
But
Yeah.
regardless,
You're
Chris,
looking at the,
you are lying because I never
Yeah.
threatened Tiffany.
You're in the
That's
group
one
that
thing
did
I
it.
would
Just
never
shut
do
up.
is threaten.
right,
You're in the
firefighter.
group that did it. Just shut up.
Yeah, you're
What
still
group? Name the group. Name
It's
the
on
group.
Facebook. I'm not naming the group. I ain't giving you no clout, punk.
I'm only on a few groups that I even
Oh, you know
talked
what group
on
you're
that
in, you big
on
fat
Facebook.
punk.
firefighter, brother.
Prove the last time I made a comment on that group then.
Well,
All right,
listen,
I can't. I'm not going to talk about it.
right.
What
We'll
now,
do all
Tim?
that when the time is right. Listen,
Yeah, it'll
firefighter.
come out.
Listen, you know, listen, buddy. We don't care that you don't like us, right? We don't care that you think that auditing is dumb. We don't care that you think that we harass people or that we go to jail or whatever. Listen, we're men, and if we do something wrong, we'll do the time, right? That's what men do, right? So if we get charged and we get convicted, we're going to do the time, right? You're not going to do the time, are you, firefighter? You're not going to do the
I've
time
been
for
to
me
jail.
if I get convicted.
I've
Right,
been
you're
to
not going
jail.
to do the time, right? So let me ask you, what makes it so
I've been to
that
jail
it's
twice.
well, I didn't say you didn't, buddy, but what I'm trying to say to you is that why the hate for like us, for me specifically? Why the hate, brother?
That's a
Have
good
I done
question.
something to you personally?
Well, my hate for you started back with Gary.
You're talking to me, George Rogue.
Yeah, George Metz.
Okay, Gary who?
Snow.
So you hated me because another man hated me?
The things you did, the things you said,
To who?
the
Gary?
lies that you have told.
What lies? Just
I'm
point
not
one
going to
out.
get into it, man, because we get into it every single time. And you
Well,
keep
listen,
denying
tell
it.
me-
Why
I-
can't you ever
everyone
tell
keeps
somebody
on,
what these alleged
showing-
lies are?
Yeah, I just want to hear one of the
The
lies that I
lies
told
that now,
Gary.
Chris.
Hold on, we're
Now,
still on
Chris,
me,
the lies
firefighter,
that
buddy.
you've
We're
told
still on me.
have the receipts have been shown.
No,
Chris must be an easier target.
no, I ain't
Hold
no
on,
easier
hold on.
target. I'll smoke this
Easier
fat
than
fool.
Rogue.
Joe,
That's
don't
Listen,
start because I
listen.
don't have any
Against
issues
Rogue.
with you.
I'll
Listen,
smoke
hate
this
aside-
fat
Don't start.
fool.
Hate aside, we can still have a conversation, can't we?
This
I
is
mean-
an opportunity for us all. I think.
Right, like so, firefighter. I was trying to have a discussion with you, buddy. I just want to know why, the hate on me. You said that because I said lies. So what lies specifically? And maybe I can address it. Maybe I can show you it wasn't a lie. Maybe I can say, you know what? Oh, you're right. I did lie in that instance. Or I
Joe,
was wrong
don't
in
start
that
with me
instance.
because I have no issues with you.
With
I
me?
think- No, I think his audio is
Was he
looping,
frozen?
messed up or something.
He broke
Looks
his camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, he broke his camera.
I actually think your stuff's
Oh, you're in and out. You went
Hey
out.
guys,
Come back.
the reason he kept coming at me is because I'm on a hush order from my court case that he wants to talk about.
And he wants you to talk
Exactly.
about it.
That's
So,
what I'm saying.
yeah,
That's what I'm saying. Don't
it's bait.
you know what I mean? Just if he comes back up, just be like, hey, dude, I love you. Peace and love, baby. Turn
Rogue
the other
line of
cheek. You
question
know what I
was
mean?
better.
Like,
We could
kill
come
him
to
with
peace there.
kindness. You know what I'm saying?
I tried that at first, man, but they kept attacking.
Oh,
Right,
no,
right here. Here's
trust
an
me, dude. I've
opportunity.
been there. I know exactly what you're saying, and I don't fault you for any of that stuff you said, brother.
All right.
I think you held back shit.
I'm sorry.
Can I say something?
But we still have to we still have to keep it civil. That way we can get some conversation going. That way we can understand, because I couldn't
Yeah, I'd love to hear him
You had, like,
explain himself on why
we had
he
three
hates people he's
yell at
never
you
met.
at the same time. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Firefighters back. So let me finish my conversation.
Why do you guys hate people you never met?
Very good. We don't need.
Why do you
I
guys
don't hate
go
people
after?
I've never met.
Why do you guys go after people
What
that
what
you
person
don't
have you seen
know?
me go after?
Like
Hold on,
Chris,
hold on.
he sticks his nose into other people's business that he has no business getting into.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, my friend. Who have I gone after?
Who's that talking?
Cliff Williams.
I don't know who you are.
Well, he
Well,
doesn't
I'm a
have
supporter
YouTube
of freedom.
channels like us, so.
Well, I don't know you.
I'm just a supporter of freedom, my friend. And I think these First Amendment auditors are fighting for our freedom.
Okay, I'd never heard of you. So that's with you.
Yeah, that's
Exactly
because I'm
his
I
behind
don't
the
think
scenes
so.
most of the time.
I think
Exactly
they.
his
I
point.
think they hide behind
And I wouldn't support anybody that
Oh, yeah,
hates
let's-
the
people.
the guys
Just so you're
are
aware.
calling themselves journalists. They're actually convicted criminals. Telling
Most
other
of them
people
are
laws and
not.
they don't know the
And the
laws.
only reason they become convicted criminals is because the government attacks them for trying to figure out where our money's going, where
Oh, no, hold on.
where the
Wait a minute.
corruption
If he-
is. They're
he's
trying to
referring
root
to me
out
too,
government
Cliff.
corruption. Will you let me finish talking
Yes,
before you
sir.
say something?
Go ahead, buddy.
Because they don't
He's
know
a,
laws that are
he's
written.
a convicted
They
criminal
misrep-
twice over.
They
It's
they
not logical
misquote. They
already.
Okay, let me step in there.
I'm gonna-
Firefighter, you said we misquote the laws. Is that what I heard? Is that correct?
I never was on jail. I've been I've been arrested.
Audio is a little bit whack.
You're kind of robot.
But
in
I
and
think
out,
you correct
Firefighter.
yourself. He ain't saying he been convicted. He says
I've
been
never
arrested
been-
is what he was saying.
Since his thing's all
so-
messed up, I'm just going to say one thing real quick. I'm going to try to
And
be
it's
as quick as
awful.
but I need to get off of this thing, because if I don't, the wife's going to sleep in the guest room tonight, and I don't want that on a Friday night.
You'll be on the couch, AV. I hear you, buddy. All right. Talk to you soon, man.
Love
Now,
you, brother.
I want to say goodbyes real quick to a couple people on the panel, real quick. FPS, I love you, and I want to thank you for
in the country.
pulling all the trolls off
There
of
it
my
goes.
channel. You have been more mental help to me than you will ever fucking know.
Okay.
I hear you, brother.
Yeah.
All right. Joe Cool, I want to thank you for being on my auditor's bucket list. You are number 3 on my auditor's bucket list. I want to meet you and medicate with you for one evening. Okay.
I'm down.
And Cliff Williams, thank you for being the supporter that you always are.
Thank you, Cliff.
And Rogue, I want to humbly thank you for having me on this panel, and I truly apologize for the way I acted. Okay, it shouldn't have happened, but I got up there, and now the medication isn't even working. So I know for a fact that I cannot control what comes out of my mouth from this point on. So I'm gonna bid adieu and good night to everybody in the chat. If I missed you, I'm sorry, but I will find you. I'll get in there for a little bit and try to tag everybody that I can. I love you all. This is the Angry Vet, and screenshot this, firefighter.
Oh yeah,
We love you,
you
Ben.
won.
All right,
Firefighter,
great.
I don't
So
know.
is firefighter stuff working? Can he hear me? Can he?
I'm here.
Yeah.
Okay, great, awesome. So you were saying that I don't know, but misquote laws.
A lot of
That's
you guys
one of
misquote
the reasons
laws,
that you don't. That's one of the
and
reasons that you don't
I've
care.
literally have gone on Google and looked up that law in that state, and you guys were way off. Not
Okay, and
not that
listen,
you misquote them, you twist them to suit your narrative.
okay,
That's what our
so
government
we
does, firefighter.
misunderstand the law basically, or we misinterpret the law basically is what you're saying, and that's one of the reasons that you hate us, right? Is that correct to say?
Yeah, for the most part.
Okay.
See, you guys don't even come close to how I people like Josh Ames or Anselmo or.
Well, right. We understand that there's levels of auditors that are, some would consider worse than what we do. But basically, the thing is all the same. We take our cameras out there, we record our government officials.
Yeah. How do you feel
Some of
about
us
that,
do it with foul
firefighter?
mouth. Some of us do it, a little more pushy than others, and we understand that.
Hey, is my mic
What
working?
Joe?
Yeah, Joe, go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't
All
mean
right,
to cut
thank
you
you.
off, buddy.
All right, no,
Go ahead, Joe.
I'm wondering, do you have issue with a guy who just walks into a public building, films his interaction with, say, I don't know, pick public building, so and so at City Hall? Do you have an issue with that? The
All right.
act in
Well,
itself?
here's the thing: what you guys consider public buildings, such as a courthouse, a
Let's stick with City Hall.
county-owned government building,
Yeah. Let's
it's
stick with
not.
City
It
Hall.
may be public, but it's open to the public. It's a limited
Okay.
public forum.
Okay.
If you guys actually read the public forum doctrine, in the public forum doctrine, it will tell you what places are considered limited public forums, places that you cannot go in there
Yes.
and do the things that you do.
Okay, well, I'm
To
not
say
sure
the
you
things that
answered
you
my
say.
question yet. I said City Hall, and we can assume we're not going into any marked off area. Just the act alone. Do you have an issue with it? Filming.
If they allow it in the building and they only allow it to, say, the lobby and the lobby only,
You wouldn't have a problem with it.
but
then.
that and
Can I
the
ask a
hallways,
question?
which is fine,
And that's okay.
Can I ask
which
a
is
question?
fine. But you,
All right.
a lot of them,
I'd like to
a
ask
lot of
you
the
this.
guys.
I
What?
want to
Let him
ask you
finish
this.
real
Do
quick,
we have
Cliff.
to have permission from our government to do anything, really? Why do we have to have permission? Are we not
Because
free?
it's not
Are
your
we not free
building.
men? Or do we got to get
But it's not
permission
your
from our
building.
daddy government?
It's
Come
not
on,
your
man.
building.
Well,
It
right.
is
Supreme
our
It's
building.
not.
We pay taxes.
Supreme Court has already
We
ruled
pay
on those things.
taxes. We pay
Right.
their
Hold on,
salaries.
guys.
And
We have a
all
All
right.
right, you
the
guys
Supreme
can't talk
Court
at the
has
same time,
ruled.
Cliff.
The Supreme Court has
Right.
ruled that just because
We don't
you,
care
as
what
a
the Supreme
citizen,
Court has ruled.
pays
I believe in the
taxes,
You see what I'm
Constitution.
saying, Cliff? You can't just
but they're
pipe
Constitution.
up
Read
and
it.
quoting the
talk when you
Constitution the
want
way it's
Read
when he's
written.
the
talking.
Constitution. Read
I
the
have.
No, you can't.
Constitution.
I have. And
Well,
where does
read
it
it
say
again
that
because
a
apparently
building
it
that
didn't
you
sink
pay
in.
for, a building that is paid for by taxes is yours and you can do what you want?
No,
Show
we're not.
me
We're
in
not.
the Constitution where that
We're
is.
not. But that's a. Hold on. Let me talk. I don't want anybody else to talk. Hold on. Let me talk. Okay. 1 second. We're not saying that is our building, firefighter. And let me run down a
No,
scenario.
I'm not saying that, but some
Hold
do.
on.
They
Let
say,
me run
"Oh, I
down a
pay taxes.
scenario.
It's my building. It's
Hold
my
on.
Yeah,
Let me.
hear what he got to say, firefighter, so you can
Hold on.
respond.
Let me
They
run down a
restrict it,
scenario.
and you respect their wishes."
Please, let me run down a scenario that everybody should be able to understand. Okay? There's 6 of us here on the panel, right? There's 6 of us.
Mhm.
Let's say we're all good buddies. Let's say that we want to have a fishing camp, a fishing hunting cabin, right? So we all decide to go in on this fishing hunting cabin, right? And we're all paying. He left. Maybe he'll hop back in. I do have people waiting in the basement, but
He probably having connection issues.
yeah, probably a connection issue. But this will help clear it up for the people in the chat, the trolls in the chat, and the regular people in the chat, and everybody else. But let's say there's 5 of us on the panel now, right? I'm gonna add in Mexican Free Press. I got Futoy and NZ in the basement. I'll let you guys up here in a second. There's more people now down below. Inland Auditing Media. All right, guys. So we're gonna switch out some people here in just a minute. Generally,
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and jump off, bro. I'm going to jump off.
Okay.
Love you, Cliff.
Let's get Inland up in here. Let's get.
Real quick, while you're doing that, I want to address something real fast. He was attacking me, and he hates me because he said that I'm a convicted criminal. He's talking about a 25-year-old misdemeanor. 25-year-old misdemeanor. A kid. I was a kid, and I did a misdemeanor. I mean, come
Right.
on,
I mean,
man.
I did a felony 30 years ago. We're not concerned with that though. But
Yeah. Public
hold on, guys. Before I lose
Yeah.
my train of thought, so that way we
Okay.
can make this clear to everybody.
5 guys in the camp.
5 guys in a camp, right? We all spend $20,000 each for this cabin, right? That we fish, we hunt at, right?
Yeah.
Now, does Major League Awesome have more of a property interest in that camp than Generally Specific?
That's
No.
right.
We have the exact same property interest in that camp because we have all put in the same amount of money, right?
Yes.
So that is the same way with a public building. No one person has more of a property interest in that building. We don't own that building, right, per se.
Yeah.
We, as a collective society,
we.
own that building,
Yeah.
and we allow the government to use that building to do what? To service us, right? The government isn't out there doing bake sales, right? They're not out there manufacturing cars.
Let's
The
be clear.
government is out there to service us, be it a DOD facility, be it a CPS facility, be it a damn DMV facility. They're all there to service us, right? The DOD isn't there to protect Russia, right?
Yeah.
The DOD is there to protect us, right?
Yep.
All these buildings are there to service us, right? We bought these buildings so that they could service us.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay? And when we go into a building, we have a right to be in that building because, again, we've got skin in the game,
Yes.
right? We've
Yes.
got skin in the game. It's actually
Ideological.
known as a liberty interest in public property. And you can read about it in Catrone versus St. Pete, and you can read about it in Chicago versus Morales. All right? We have an interest in this property. And as such, right, people say there's a hard, fast rule that you can't trespass without a crime. That's where that comes from. It's not a hard, fast rule. It's more like common sense, right? We have a right to be there. And if we're not breaking the law, we have a right to stay there, right? There is no exception to the public property. The beach is public property. The park is public property, right? You can't just go out onto the beach and start trespassing mofos because they're wearing Trump hats and you're a damn Democrat cop, right? And the same thing goes with the city hall. If you're not breaking a law, then you're allowed to be there. There's no time limit set.
You must
right
have
to
business
be in a
there,
public area.
all
And in
that
fact,
bullshit.
there's a plurality opinion of the Supreme Court that says that we have the right to loiter for innocent purposes, right? And that is because this is our right. This is our property, part of our property. We've got skin in the game. We're allowed to be here. Now, if the government doesn't want the citizens there for whatever reason, privacy, national security, whatever the reason may be, then they can take that public property and make it private, right? They can make it not private, restricted, right? Like Fort Knox is restricted. The Pentagon is restricted. Area 51 is restricted. The White House is restricted, right? You can't allow some citizens to come in there freely and not other citizens because they have a camera, right? Or because it's Stephen King and he's writing his book while he's waiting in line to pay his utility bill. Because guess what? Writing a book is an expressive activity too.
Yep.
Right? So
Fire, is your mic working? Maybe you.
Let me jump down here, and I'm gonna let some of these other guys talk and chat. And we got some new people in here. Brandon's in here. Futoy's still in here. Generally Specific, I'm sure, has got some
taxes
stuff
on that building that was built.
Who was talking?
I was asking Fire if he heard anything Rogue said about the possession and ownership of the building, and if you had a comment on it.
Cheers to all the freedom fighters and freedom lovers.
Cheers.
Thank you, Brandon. Welcome, buddy.
Yeah, Fire having issues again.
Yeah, more than just his service.
It's 4 a.m. here. I was trying to get some sleep and listen in the background, but firefighter made me want to come up again. You know?
Welcome back, Futoy. We missed you.
Thank you, Chris. Thanks, mate. Listen, right. So Chris's point is that we don't own the building and we can't do what we want. But hold on a second. So let's go through a list of what the government owns. What does the government own? Right. Let's say number one. What do the government own?
Besides
nothing.
Besides you. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking too, Joe.
Yeah, besides that, but the government.
I was thinking I was a slave too.
They can't own anything, right?
Right.
By nature of what they are, right? But
yes,
it's kind of them who think they can do what they want. So not
That's
only
a
do
good
they
point,
not own
Futoy.
anything, they act like they can do what they like, right? Which is against our constitution, against our rights. I'd love to ask Firefighter what he would do if somebody was trying to stomp on his rights. Yeah,
He do what the government told him he's supposed to do.
Can I answer for him? He would
Whatever
drool
that is.
and then bow, and then drool and then bow.
It's crazy. It's just what he's saying doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? There's something very much in common with all these auditor haters.
It's
You know what I
emotion
mean?
like a some bitch, right? It is pure fucking emotion. Something is.
They just want us all to be slaves.
And the level of personal attack that those idiots will go to is disgusting.
I agree with that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Especially on your channel for public safety. You pull
Yeah,
in
it's
some
been bad,
trolls.
man. They've been they've been disgusting to our family.
Yeah,
Absolutely
yeah, they are.
disgraceful. Yeah,
Piece of shit.
they don't care if they're doing it to women or children or disabled people or veterans. I mean, nothing is off limits to them. It's gross.
Sad.
That's crazy.
Hey, can we change the subject up a little bit now that
You
idiot
came
drool?
with that shit. You came with that shit. Yes, change the subject.
You know what I want to know? I want to know what was on that bag, on the front of that bag of your medical needs there,
yeah.
Joe.
Hold on.
I mean, is that medical?
Oh no. This it's Colorado. This is recreational. It's legal.
That's awesome. So it's like packaged now, and you're not carrying it.
Vacuum sealed, all that bullshit.
Look at that, man. That's crazy. Because the last time I ever really saw that close to me, it was in like a crude, like sandwich baggie.
I remember them days, right?
It's still illegal here in Kansas.
Guys, I want to give a shout out to Henry, from TY and STH Audits. He's also under gag order, and
Yes.
Get
Yeah.
switched up. Yeah.
Yeah, he's dealing with
That's a
a bunch of
patriot
bullshit.
and a half, Joe. He remind me of you, public safety. That motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I talked to him today, man, and let me say this: like, I don't know if you guys were following, him for the last couple of months, but he really picked up and changed. Like, he added more to what he was doing, and he really dug deep, and he found this huge case that needed to be outed. Where there was a property, like basically the government was stealing property and pocketing everything. And man, I got to give him props because that was a great series.
I saw that. I must have him. Yeah, they had the property and somebody didn't have to pay on it, and they let their guy build on it. And they kicked the other people off of it. Yeah, that was it.
And he nailed him to the wall, man. And that's really why he's in all this shit, because. Man, when you expose them, when you expose the crooked stuff they're doing, they immediately attack you with their authority.
Yeah,
and with everything they got, they've got a whole government behind them, and they're picking on these people who are just trying to be freaking good Americans and stand up for their rights. God damn it!
Rogue,
You guys are heroes. You guys are freaking heroes in my books.
You want to drop me in the back for a while too and pop up, Rogue?
Yeah, what do you got going on there? Generally, it's great to see you, brother.
Oh, you got dropped, Joe. You got dropped, homie.
Oh no, did Joe get hit?
He rage quit. Joe rage quit.
That's funny. He said I could drop him, so I was going to drop him and pop in. I just wanted to hear what, generally specific. I got Inland Auditing Media, who I definitely have a question for him that I wanted to touch base with him on, so I'm glad that he's here.
Hey, Rogue. Hey, everyone.
Thanks, guys. I just wanted to hear what some of these guys had to say about maybe some of the topics they've heard.
Would it be okay?
And see what input they have.
Would it be okay if I go first? Because I actually have a question for Inland Auditing Media. And I'll be brief, and I'll hop down and take my answer offline if necessary. I just had a couple comments. It does take some sack, I guess, to kind of come on to enemy territory. But here's my thinking. Instead of hating on, and I wrote down some notes, instead of hating on auditors, these people should be thanking them. They're flexing the rights. They really are. I said, furthermore, how is an auditor or even an activist benefiting in any way, harming anyone else? I mean, if they're not taking from you, why do you care if people donate to them or if they enrich themselves in any way, shape, or form? If they're not hurting anyone, where's the crime? Inland Auditing Media, this is for you. I've been watching your stuff. Seriously, I would love to have you on High Noon. There's a lot of you I'd love to have on High Noon, by the way. And if you're something anyone's interested in, go to porchdicknation@gmail.com and contact me there. But the question I said, I'd absolutely love to have you on because I've been following your investigations on the absence of employees. And in one particular building, there was a massive absence of employees that only had like 5 people working. And I kind of wanted to pick your brain on what do you think that could entail? What do you think it could mean? Among other things. So if that's something you might be interested in, I would really enjoy having you. And if you go to my channel and you want to understand what the format would be, go to my channel under Lives and look for High Noon. There's only 2 episodes of it. So you might be on episode 3.
Yeah. Oh, I'd love to. I mean, I really do want to expose this. I mean, I kind of tend to just kind of speak about things when I'm out in the field as I do with people. I'm just really straight up and forward about it. But what I've come to discover, which I'm going to release a documentary about later this year, pretty much December, I think, is at least in Washington State. I don't know about others because generally haven't done a lot outside of Washington. Mostly from the places I've gone to and where people have said, most of the people aren't here working. It's about 90 to 96% empty. And it's shocking because in Olympia, which for any of you that are not familiar with Washington, Olympia is the capital. Not trying to impugn anybody or anything. When you go to the Washington State Department of Transportation building, it's gigantic. I mean, it's really massive. There's something like 1,500 offices in it. Over 4 floors, and it's like few acres or several acres large. You go in, there is about a 120 square foot area that you can stand in when you enter the lobby to this massive building, and it says you cannot go beyond it. And when you get there, you ask the people, hey, where is everybody? They're all working from home. And some of the things that started to come to mind is some what appears to be potentially significant financial fraud. Because I started thinking about this because of like being I used to do business consultation, and one of the things I started thinking about was, as we all know, depending on what state you live in, may be called something different, but in Washington state, it's labor and industries, and that's where you pay a certain tax out of your wage. If you're a jackhammer operator, it might be $12 an hour. If you're a clerk, you might be 45 cents an hour, because it's less risky on average to be a clerk than a jackhammer operator. Well, if one of you is working from home, and let's say due to whatever your job is, the state says it's $1.25 an hour is your risk. And we all know how the state captures things is if you control the workspace, then you should be able to say, I'm going to mitigate risk by having everything controlled in the work environment. But how can you say that your home is controlled, right? Because let's say you go to get some tea, you end up tripping, spilling hot water all over yourself. How does that L&I issue get addressed? And then when I dug into the Office of Financial Management in Washington State doing some public records requests, I came to realize those funds that are not used for these at-home teleworkers get rolled into the general fund at the end of the year. Well, in Washington State, that rollover from the L&I fund into the general fund means they can use those funds for whatever they want. AKA, somebody has a pet project in their district they need to get done, so it looks like they're doing hard work for the people. They get their bridge built or the DSHS building built, whatever. And now all of a sudden, you've effectively taken funds that should be allocated in what would be referred to in economics as scaled economies of finance, and you've effectively diverted those funds from their intended purpose by way of what has been legislated into something that was not meant to do it, so that people can gain political favor in their districts at the selection of the governor. That is just insanely corrupt. I mean, and I didn't even realize it.
You know, I've seen this on the city levels in my work. And a lot of times, you know, those, like you said, there's a real specific reason for the council selecting where these funds are supposed to go. And when you do those rollovers, you're basically giving that group of government the complete freedom to spend the money however they want. And that's not why if it was supposed to be that way, then we wouldn't have to do these council meetings and votes on how the money is spent. Significant needs to be done.
Chris, I think you're being attacked or something, man.
We are.
You're glitching.
You keep dropping out.
Yeah. Hey, Inland.
Yeah.
So here's where I'm going to put some tinfoil hat on, and I think your phones are being attacked, Chris and Tiff. Just letting you know. So Inland,
like they're looking at it now.
And then this. Hey, Road. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah,
hear
I
you.
can hear you.
Do you have a way to get a hold of DirectD?
I don't have his direct number, so I can't say that I do. I think Joe Cool's giving me the thumbs up below. He's listening in. He can get in touch with him. What do you got to say?
I'm going to bail out.
Well,
You can pop Joe
I
back
need
in.
to discuss it like off screen, but I just need somebody to reach out to me. That way I can let them know what's going on. They can get a hold of him.
Okay, so you need someone to get in touch with D and have him get in touch with you, or
Yes.
I think he might have my number.
Joe?
He might have my number, Joe. Just tell him to get a hold of me.
Okay. If Joe's got your number, cool. If not, me and Joe are in a text group chat. He can get in touch with me, and I'll pass your number along to him, Chris, and that way.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think DirectD already has my number from a while back we talked, but I don't know if he still has it or not.
Okay.
So there's obviously something going on. I just real while we still have I am cool, and if you got anyone else that needs to come up, I can drop down after I ask this
No,
question.
we're good right now. So
Okay.
continue. I know you had a question. You were talking with Inland, so let's go ahead with that. I don't want to interrupt you guys. Sorry.
Well, I'm very interested in, maybe this is a tinfoil hat wrinkle, Steve. If I call you Steve, because that's, or Gandalf. I like Gandalf.
Gandalf's fine, whatever works for you.
You're neither late nor early. You're always arrive precisely when you intend to. Like, here's a tinfoil hat, and I know it's a little tinfoily, but what if, now hear me out, we seem to have a great wall of, some might say, China around our White House right now, where people used to be able to picnic on the lawn. What if the reason why all these employees, and this might be going all around the entire nation, are being sent home to telework, is because the government's really not checking up on them, not making sure they're doing their job. So therefore, there's less people to whistleblow. And what if China's slowly starting to institute itself into these buildings to take over? You know how things like this happen slowly, and then all of a sudden. You can still run because you haven't committed to doing high noon, but this is kind of where my mind goes a little bit. But maybe that's an interesting wrinkle, and maybe if you can look at it from a different set of eyes, that might actually even clue you into even something more sinister than just corruption. Thoughts?
Sorry, I had to unmute there. I'd have to think about that, honestly. I try to let something soak in and really think about it in a variety of ways. It would not shock me. I think any person that would underestimate our major enemies, any enemy, is not wise. I tend to think of what's going on right now as having a more primary motive, and what I mean by primary motive is something that the government wants to achieve more directly, more right now in our face. And it doesn't mean that they're not being duplicitous about it or Machiavellian, but what it means, for me at least, is one thing I've discovered recently, and we all know because we're experienced citizen journalists / auditors, public records requests are ways to, of course, get access to stuff. But recently, by recently, last few years, government has been putting up more roadblocks in public records requests, depending on where you're at. Washington, thankfully, has, I think, the best public records request law in the country, which is shocking to me, but I think they do. However, what I've come to discover is petitioning the government to seek redress of grievances is the last hill to die on. And the reason I say that, if any of you don't find this to be a shameless plug, hopefully you don't, the Department of Enterprise Services saga that I now have on my channel, it's 6 videos deep at this point, 5 updates, and then the original video. And as I've told San Joaquin Valley Transparency, Rogue Nation, and others, I'm just an incredibly vindictive person. I just don't stop ever. I'll never stop. I will grab onto whatever it is I'm going, and I'll die in a pit before I let it go. And the petitioning process is unnerving to me. It's scary to me because I went to the Department of Enterprise Services, and after having had been in effect swatted at the Department of Enterprise Services, and by swatted, I don't mean like threatened, but they sent 5 police officers for me doing a public records request.
Yeah.
When they showed up, I then, started trying to file criminal complaints. I went to the Department of Enterprise Services headquarters in Olympia, which is only like 20 miles away from there. Actually, not even that. It's about 6 miles now that I think about it. I went to the headquarters building and I went to petition the government. The one time I got through, they refused to hear my petition. Okay. I can't make them do something, but I can at least go to their door and say, I've got a problem. The next time I returned, and this is the real scary thing to me generally, because I think this goes in the direction of what you're speaking about to some degree or another. They had the property management company, which owns the building on the Capitol grounds of Olympia at the Capitol complex for the state of Washington. The property management company had come in and set up a new barrier with security that said you cannot go past here.
I
Now,
knew you were going to say that.
if you read the policy manual for the Washington State Patrol and the Department of Enterprise Services Visitors Bureau, which controls security to the Capitol complex, it says if there's a sign that says certain language, you cannot go past there. State Patrol come over there, hook you up immediately. Right there on the spot, no questions, you're going to jail. So I asked this woman named Tawny Rainwater, who is the property management official for that property. It has 4 headquarters building, or 4 headquarters in that building. She came downstairs and I said, how am I supposed to petition my government to seek redress of grievances? So she said, well, you fill out this form right here, which is a public records request. And I said, that's not a public records request. It's a petition. I'm looking to petition my government. She's like, well, I don't know what that means. And I'm like, well, it's not your place to know. It's my place to go and speak with my government and to have my interaction. She's like, well, that's what we're here for. And I said, well, who do you work for? And she said, I forget the name of the property management company, but it's a property management company. And I said, I just want to get this on video and audio right here, right now, Tawny. You're telling me as a property manager for a private firm that you have set up a security barrier between me as the citizen and my government that I pay for, such that if I attempt to go beyond that barrier to speak with my government and petition them for redress of grievances, you will call a state patrolman and have me arrested. She said yes. I'm like, so a private company is brokering my First Amendment liberty to petition? Well, no, that's not what I mean. I'm like, that's exactly what you said. And I said, I can't force you. And it's not like I'm going to come back with a weapon or get into a fight with you, right? Anybody that's watched my channel, I'm not a yeller, screamer, throw down a Motown kind of a guy. I guess I would if I had to, but it's not my general go-to. And I said, but you know what? It's an election year. And you're putting on the speaker your tyrannical outlooks for everyone to hear and see. And I said, even if Washington still drinks from the Kool-Aid of communism and tyranny, other people, other good Americans in other states and other locales are going to hear and witness your abusive behavior, which is completely contravening the very intent of freedom in our nation. And they will come for you at some point in some way or another. And I said, just remember, it's all on video and audio. It's going to be there forever. And I think that's where it really is at this point. They're fearful that we can still go to confront them. And that's why they're trying to put barriers up.
Everywhere.
I know that was a little long-winded. I apologize, and thank you for hearing me out.
Good catch, man. The barrier thing. How the fuck you gonna hire somebody to stop me from redressing my government? I don't know if I'd caught that.
Shit, it's everywhere, Joe. You know, everywhere we go, they're taking steps to try to keep you from being able to communicate with any of our officials everywhere. I mean,
it's very difficult, isn't it? They spin you. Oh, you got to go here. He's off till tomorrow. No, you got to go here. You can do it over the internet. You can't really do it.
Yeah, they act like you're trying to talk to the manager at McDonald's. No, wait, the manager at McDonald's answers the complaints. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's much more easily accessible, right?
Yeah, I can't figure out what place you can't have a grievance with the management except for the government. Now that I think about it.
Yeah, you know, you guys are right, because now they're starting to push anything you want. Oh, you go online, right?
Oh, yeah.
So recently, I'm working on something myself. So I went to make an online. I have to. I live in Ireland. An online FOIA request, and it was mandatory to put my name, my phone number, my email address. I could not do it anonymously.
Yeah, it won't work.
Yeah, I had to put those in, right? And then when I go to complain about it, you get a whole lot of nonsense, like.
And then and look at in my situation right now. I'm not going to talk a lot about it, but I will say this: all of my private information, my social security number, my address, my full name, all of that was given away by a public official due to them having my access to that stuff. So people that think that, oh, it's okay, I can give them my social security number. It's okay, I can give them my address. It's okay, I can tell them my name. You try upsetting one angry little criminal official and see if it's still okay, because it ain't. Because you'll have people on your front doorstep threatening your life.
Boy, public safety, you are so correct. In fact, you know, with different people I've spoken to, you know, and obviously I'm new to the community, so I will say that I've had a variety of people. Here's the deal: Brian, SJVT, Rogue, of course, and others, many others. Put some props out for me, get me some exposure and whatnot. But I'll say this: it's one of the reasons why I've worked diligently to just maintain my anonymity for now. It's obviously not going to last forever. I know that. But for right now, it's because of exactly what you said and what I heard you say earlier. It's why I look at this and I realize it's more unnerving than I think most people give credit to. Not any of you necessarily, but just the angst, the division, the frustration, the anger, the hostility, the sometimes violence. I'm not trying to say this is some revolutionary period, but it smacks of in similarly dissimilar, and I say that because of generally specific, I love the name, similarly dissimilar ways of where we're not necessarily throwing tea into a bay, but we see this division between what I think is truly real freedom, which is scary, it's unnerving, it's dissimilar, but there are people that want a constrained, controlled comfort and call that freedom. And then there's people that want to say, I'm not really interested in that. I want to live my life as I will, as long as I'm not hurting anyone else. Leave me alone. And that really upturns the apple cart. I actually think we're in a freer time nowadays than we have ever been. And I think the evidence is the conflict, the disagreement.
Well, you know, I can
as
take it one
opposed to the
step.
boot, as opposed to having a boot on you, is what you're saying.
You know, and I could even get one step closer to the other side's argument, and still it's no better. But like you said, you know, as long as I mind my own business, I can be free. Well, I can take it one step further and say, hey, I can abide by all of the laws to feel free. And that's still not good enough for them.
Exactly. And I think a lot of that has to do with, and by the way, if I'm bogarting too much here, to use an older person's phrase, just let me know. I don't mean to be rude or anything. But
I use the word too, man. Don't feel bad.
Pass the Ducci on the left-hand side, I think is nice.
I think the only Bogart here is Joe down there. He hasn't passed that bong once.
Put Bogart in the bong, Joe.
I do have a kind of a follow-up question, Inland, while I got you in. Chris,
Sure.
I don't want to talk too much, man. I'm really trying not to say anything because I don't want you to react to it, and I don't want it to be about anything other than, I'm going to say this first. It's annoying to me. Like I said it live, and the Fraud channel has caught it. You know, where I'm getting real frustrated with, if there's the slightest insult towards anyone in the state jumps on the bandwagon to help the state out. But for 3 months, there's been, I've watched you put video after video in front of people saying, please, somebody help. Look at this harassment. Here's the audio. Here's the text messages. And nothing. But the second someone pokes the state in the eye, they can't rattle a piece of paper at you fast enough to try to put handcuffs on you. That said, inland auditing, it's interesting. There's something that I think I would like to see more people cover is in Michigan, they replaced an entire council meeting or city board. I don't know if it was a city board or a council or a town, whatever. Because what they were trying to do is they were trying to let the Chinese jam through a lithium battery plant, and the people didn't want it. And for months and months, almost 6 months, they wouldn't listen to the people. So the people basically, from what I understand, changed the locks on the doors and voted them out. So, and I say this, and the reason why the China tie comes in here is because that got narrowly stopped in Michigan, but here in Kentucky, the same thing is basically happening. They've got like a lithium battery plant getting put in. I was just, again, if you're bored of this, I understand, but just something to put in the back of your, put something to put in the back of your mind, maybe. And Chris, man, seriously, man, I don't know how you guys do it. And Steve, I like your presence. I like your stoicism. I like your professionalism. There's a lot. And Joe, I like the love. I really do. And Rogue, I like the fact that you're open to talk to everyone. And if anyone comes up and you need to boot me out, I'll take my answers offline. Thank you very much for the opportunity, by the way.
No,
Great
but
to
I
see you,
do
bro.
have to wrap this up. It's been 2 hours, and like Seinfeld, you got to know when it's time to go. You know what I mean? When it's time to shut down. And like Seinfeld, I always close when I'm at the top of my game. But before we do leave, I had one question for Inland Auditing, and he doesn't have to answer me here because I don't even know if he's going to know it right off the top of his head, but I know he has my email address. And Inland, what I specifically wanted to ask you was, in that video that you did at the post office where you informed the police officers that they were not allowed to have firearms on the property, there was a part of that video that you had a document there with you, and I'm unsure what the document was, but you were talking about how authorized users or authorized employees or representatives, and you had stated that on the second page it said that there were no authorized representatives, and I'm guessing to be able to shut down the filming like it says in the poster 7. I was wondering if you remember that, and if any way I could get a link to those laws that you were discussing with them, about specifically about the firearms, but more importantly to me is about the authorized users, because the way I've always interpreted it is because the CFR was written by the leaders, you know, the Postmaster General and the board. They got a board, a postal board. Since the CFR was written by them, it wasn't up to just some old, clerk to override their permission unless one of the other laws in that CFR had been broken, right? Like if you were creating a disturbance, or if you were loitering or disrupting business or impeding business by standing in the doorway or something like that. So that's how I always took it, was that they're only authorized in the fact of if you're doing something beyond the filming. So do you remember that?
Absolutely, I do. I know you guys are probably hearing this like inhale as I'm trying to get enough breath, but in that sense, I don't want to like go too crazy on your time. I'm happy to explain. I don't want this to sound snotty. I'm happy to explain this, but it gets a bit in depth. So do I have enough time to get into it? It's not like an hour, but do I have a few minutes to go into
would you rather just email me and we could email back and forth, and then
I'd be happy to do that too. I don't know if maybe it's something that maybe your subscribers and others might want to hear, because it is actually something that's very germane.
Totally want to hear it. Just wife a little too.
I do, but again, it's getting late and my family's getting mad at me for being on live so long. Why don't we do this? And Len, why don't you email me and we'll set up a time, and me and you can host another live stream, and we could go in depth on that, because I think that's pretty important. And I'll tell you why, buddy, and I've got some documents, I'm sure you've got them as well, as the stand-up talk from last year that the Postal Inspection Service put out. But what I've been seeing recently in the last 6 months is a rash of auditors being kicked out of and arrested at post offices. And I was just talking to somebody earlier today, and I told him, I said, I don't understand why that is, because I've done over 150 post offices in 15 different states in the last 3 years, and I haven't been trespassed out of one of them.
That was me you were talking to in that conversation, Rogue.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, I mean, to see these guys out there getting trespassed and getting arrested, I think we need to give some more information to them and make sure they have the right information when they're
Very
going out
good.
there, because
Very good.
it's bad.
It's the
Yeah,
least y'all
no,
can do.
I'm very happy to do that. If I can just have a couple seconds, I'll say this. I think what's happening, sort of in an ephemeral way, is states are depending on what I call the standard for vague statutes: disorderly conduct, harassment, stalking, obstruction. They're using these very broad and uninformed case rulings from their state to allow them an opening. And so what they're doing is, behaviorally, they're saying, because of things like qualified immunity, for example, well, the interpretation of Officer Smith in X situation is such that they were reasonably informed to believe that disorderly conduct was occurring. Oh gosh,
Of course.
our bad, Mr. Adams. We didn't believe that in the moment we were really breaking the law and violating your liberties. We just had to make a decision, and it's kind of a gray area, and so we did the best that we could. Our bad. Yeah, well, I guess we'll give you $5,000. What they're hoping is that the sheer overwhelming consequences that loom for someone by going through the criminal justice system is going to be enough to dissuade them from doing this. And I think their aggression is effectively an acknowledgement that they want to, on average, push the bulwark of people back that are in mass trying to push against the excess of government. And it's the few people that are willing to push past it and punch through it and say, no, that's fine. I love court. In fact, it's my favorite place to go. I love hanging out there. So then they have to deal with this person. And I think, like for public safety was saying, and please correct me if I'm wrong, public, they will then come after you with every tool in the garden shed and treat you like the malady to humanity that they perceive you to be. And so I think that's where this is going. This is just them saying they're winning, so we need to push back against them.
Do you mind if I add to that, Inland?
Oh, of
Have
course,
them
absolutely.
cut out and make your life easy, Rogue.
Yeah, let me add to that. Okay, first of all, I'm going to suggest that I don't personally believe that those statutes that they're abusing are actually quite that broad. I think because of the way our justice system is being ran now, and with the people who are knowingly abusing it, what they're doing is they're taking statutes that can be abused very easily. It doesn't necessarily mean the statute's broad, but since we have to go to court to prove our innocence and we're already guilty, as soon as a cop says we're guilty, then they're taking that. And then here's where it goes. It goes to where you have to pay a ton of money just to stay out of jail and continue your life and feed your family. Okay. Like, for example, I'm down $20,000 right now just because of a broad statute being used against me. Okay. Originally, and then stacked and stacked and stacked of those broad statutes being used against me, but they're not broad statutes. It's obvious that they weren't violated. Okay. If you really read the statute, it wasn't violated, but since a cop said so, I got to pay the money. Since a cop said so, I either sit in jail or I pay the money. And here's what people can't do. We can't afford to pay the money, and they will triple it on you. Look at my case. They will make, if they find out that you can pay the $5,000, they'll hit you again, and then it's $10,000. And if they find out you can't pay the 10, they'll hit you again, and it's $30,000. Okay, that's how it works. You know, and that's how they're doing it. And you're right, Inland. They're trying. It's all ultimately because they do not want anyone there that's questioning if they're doing it properly.
And public, I 150% agree with you, and that's why. And forgive me if I'm not understanding the politics of the citizen journalist auditor world, because there's a lot of stuff I'm just not up on at this point. But I will say that when SJVT did one of my, actually a couple of my videos recently, he was very gracious in his acknowledging certain things or just pointing to certain things that he thought were valuable. Public records requests, I think, are the tool of the utmost significance to auditors and citizen journalists, because to use a crass or basic example, public, if you don't mind, if I were to walk up and just slap you across the face, it's so direct and obvious, right? I'm like, public, I have a problem with you. I'm attacking you, right? But if I say, public, I'm going to start digging with a private investigator into your entire life. I'm going to find everything. I'm going to discover everything. I'm going to put it out for the world to consume. But I'm going to put a little spin on it. A little torch here, a little twist there, a little poke and prod there. I argue that it's more damaging to do the latter than the first. Sure, you're not going to like it if I walk up and slap you across the face. Who would like that? But your face is resilient. It's going to be able to deal with it. It'll go away in a day or whatever, and we're done with it, right? But that constant thing that we see persisting is I think what they are not going to have there. And I think to do public records requests and to expose a litany of issues, which any of you have been following me, I finally got an attorney for the Auburn School District issue that I've been dealing with. And I'm a very methodical person. And I think this is going to turn out to be a good thing. And that's because I did a litany of public records requests, and I've caught them in an untenable situation. And what you do then is when you get those untenable situations, you don't let go. You hold on to their throat and you say, there's a lot more blood to get out of this turnip or this stone than we first believed. And by doing so, it's all about a chess game. How do you set up that to be, in effect, a precedent to knock down the dominoes that come further downfield? And it's difficult. I mean, I'm not trying to say I have all the answers, but I completely agree with your hypothesis. What I believe is really coming up on a theory, public. And I think to take a measured, slow stance and look upon the field to realize how do we contend with this is the key thing. And I go back to the public records requests, I believe, being the real weapon of choice in this situation. The trade currency, public, if I said to you right now, how would you feel if I gave you $5,000? Probably like that. Yeah.
Right.
Well, the trade currency of the government is not money, it's humiliation. And if you can find a way to expose their shenanigans and their tomfooleriness and their corruption and tyranny, which often comes at the end of the spear of public records requests, you can do so much irreversible damage to them that there is no amount of money that can pay off the damage. It is all about their need to have the belief that the public believes in them. And once you start poking a hole in that balloon, the water starts coming out.
Yeah. And ultimately, this goes back full circle to this part of the discussion. Who do they use when they want to attack what they perceive as their enemy? The public. They use the people that believe them.
Yeah.
To attack the ones that are trying to show the public that they're lying to you. You know, and I also want to make another point. You know, what you're saying is very fitting in a situation where corruption is specifically happening. Like say you got, I mean, we didn't showcased a whole year's worth of footage of content that was based on the sheriff in Clark County that Tiffany and I have learned was absolutely corrupt in several different aspects. So in that situation, yes, you want to pick at it slow. You want that domino to tumble, right? You want that dominoes to get going. But I wouldn't want to do that in a government that's ultimately trying their best to do the right thing. Okay. I wouldn't go in there and just start twisting and turning at all their internal organs, you know, if they're ultimately all trying to do the right thing. But if you've got one and you know for a fact that somebody at the top of that chain is involved in something nefarious, that's how you do it. You're exactly right, Inland. I think you and me could be great friends behind the scenes.
I agree. I mean,
I think we're all great friends here. And I haven't even had much time to get to know Inland, so I'm going to change that. I want to get your email, buddy. Yeah, definitely. I know he's got mine, and I don't want to keep going on because we could talk for all night. I know Cliff just popped up, so he's got something that he wants to say. But I am going to be ending the stream real soon. Inland, please get back with me, brother, and let's set that up. Let's call it the Poster 7 panel, and we can do some discussing on some, because like I said earlier, and when I started the stream, I posted a video last night about oral arguments that was going on in a court case here in Florida, and they were talking about the expectation of privacy. This is the kind of information that we need to impart to our subs, right? It's the audits are great, and I love them, and it does help in a lot of areas. But what also helps is imparting this knowledge, right? Yep. And so in my thinking, those kind of videos, like I posted last night, they should be getting 50,000 views and not 5,000 views. It kind of goes to show that some people are interested in the drama of the interaction, and some people are actually interested in learning the mechanics of the law to either help themselves or to help others. So, well, the latter is level 2, brother. And your channel is like the king of the community of offering level 2 intel information. That's one of the things I've always highly respected you for, is being the channel that you can turn to and gain that level 2 knowledge, understanding of what the audits are about. Right. But let me just say as a disclaimer that I'm not a lawyer. And let me go down the troll list. I can't comprehend anything I read. Okay, I misinterpret law. I don't know what statutory construction is. I have no idea what legalese, words of art, or terms of art are. And I'm just a complete moron. So take all what I have to say, with a grain of salt, and then come to a totally separate conclusion, and you're sure to be right. So there you go. Whatever I say, do the opposite of, and you're more than likely going to be 100% correct. As the troll. Oh no, right. He's not. He doesn't mean all of that, guys. So no. No, I listen. I always tell people I never want people to believe what I say, and I mean that. I tell my kids that. I tell my kids, don't believe what your father says. Right? Research it yourself. If it's get to the book and see if he's right. Right. If it's important to you, research it yourself. Now I can tell you the grass is green all day long, and you can believe me, and that's not going to affect us. Right? But if I say something and that's important to you in your life, don't believe me. Take the freaking time out of your own life and look into it your damn self, right? Don't come back and blaming old George that I gave you bad advice on a mortgage, right? Mortgage law, and you lost your home because you didn't. Well, George told me that this is true, so I don't need to read my mortgage. I'll just sign on the dotted line because, George told me to do that. Always do your due diligence, guys. And with that said, Cliff, go ahead, and then I'm shutting it down, buddy.
Well, I just wanted to say thanks for everybody being on the panel tonight for public safety. I've been telling you to get in touch with Inland Auditing Media for a while, watch his videos, and you said, I just don't have time right now. But now you'll make the time, I'm pretty sure. Generally specific, I respect you. I think that you are for public safety. You are for him. You've been to 3 of his hearings so far. Rogue Nation, still the Benjamin Franklin of the auditing community. And Futoy, I just subscribed to your channel finally.
Thank you.
And I think you guys are all great. And I'm going to do a for public safety thing. Everybody in the chat, put a 1 in the chat if you think that this panel was great tonight. And have a good night, guys.
We love
Bro,
you, Cliff.
could I make a finishing statement?
Yes, please.
Thank you. Inland, you were talking about things that we can use like on our side for our protection, like FOIA requests and that. There's a load of tools, like for example, filming our government officials in the course of their actions, because I think showing the people, right, what they are like and what they will and will not do, right,
You are absolutely correct, Fatoy.
is a great tool, is another great tool. Thank you, Rogue. It's a pleasure being
All
up
right,
here with
man.
you guys. Really.
Thanks,
Thank
George.
everybody, and yeah, we'll see everybody soon. All right, stay
Well,
safe
wait a
out
minute.
there.
Don't I get to thank you for this?
Yeah, you
Thanks,
don't need to
George.
thank me, fool.
Hey,
Go
man,
ahead.
you tried to hang up on me before I got to thank you for this. My buddy, and person that I've looked up to since day one before I even started a channel here, Rogue Nation. He just called me yesterday and said, "Hey, man, I'm doing this thing for you and another friend of mine, and I was just like, dude, I can't tell you how much that support means to us because, when we didn't mean to come into it alone, but we did. And immediately we found people like you, George. And I mean, now I realize that there's no way we would have gotten through a month of this without people like you and the people that are watching right now and the people that we shared this panel with, other than firefighter fat ass, didn't mean to throw that in there. It was a little off color on it. But thank you guys so much for everything. We could not do it without you.
Agreed. Thank you, Rogue.
Can I just thank for Val and his parents aren't here to really kind of thank you for putting the effort into it. Rogue, I really do appreciate it. And also, if there's any way you could kind of throw something on the community page, my tribute to Know Your Target and Beyond, maybe you can get that out there, get more eyes on it. I think it's a very touching tribute.
Mm-hmm.
And to
Absolutely,
get that,
that's on your videos page.
yeah, it's it's one of my edited videos, and I can't even take credit for it, dude. I don't know. That's probably the best video I've ever done in my entire life. And
Yeah, I'll throw it up in my community tab tomorrow.
I really appreciate that, man. I really
Yeah,
do.
brother.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, guys. Yeah.
Thanks,
Can't
George.
waste no longer. Chris, obviously, like I said, you don't have to thank me, brother. It's an honor to be associated with, men of caliber such as the folks that we have on the panel here tonight. That's my honor to be associated with you gentlemen, because you're all out there doing good work. And I like to associate myself with people that are doing good work and that are not out there just being a nuisance to society to collect some money and buy a new tracksuit or whatever have you, not whatever their reasonings for doing what they're doing is. So I appreciate the fact that you guys do come on here and help me to talk with the people and to hash out ideals and to hash out the laws, because the more people and the more eyes we have on a certain law, the more we're going to comprehend it, right? The better it's going to be. Maybe I can explain it a little bit better than somebody else can explain it, and somebody else can explain a little bit better than I can explain it. And like Six Oaks in the chat, he's there's been things that I haven't known, and he's come through for me. And it's one hand washes the other, and it's collectively we can do anything, right? Collectively, we send rockets up to the moon or whatever, and collectively we could do a lot. So individually we're limited by our own knowledge, but when we put together and we share knowledge and we discuss things instead of there's a quote by Eleanor Roosevelt: great minds discuss ideals, medium minds discuss events, small minds discuss people, right?
Yep.
And that's why on this channel I like to discuss ideals. I like to discuss events. We want to be in that higher bracket of thinking, right? We want to be prioritizing our time more to being productive mentally, right?
Yeah.
You know, take away the man cave, bring back the den. You know what I mean? Bring back the study. You know, when men actually had books that weren't 50 Shades of Grey on their bookshelf. You know what I
Right.
mean? And pictures of men in tights. You know what I mean? Playing with balls.
Right.
Right? Like,
Playboy magazines. Right.
Men
Yeah.
of numbers.
right. Right. So, all right, guys, I got to go. Thank you. Love
Thanks,
you.
George. Take care.
Yep.
Love you guys.
Yep. We'll see everybody soon.